Hi everyone and welcome to NameHero.com. In this video I want to teach you how to set up your WordPress website on the cloud. For those of you that are familiar with the cloud, you know that you need this for the highest speed, most redundant, reliable, and scalable hosting infrastructure. The cloud's really not new nowadays here in 2018, as most all enterprises, especially large websites, have moved to the cloud. Basically, it allows you to have high-speed hosting without owning all this equipment and servers, and picking a hosting company that has a high reliable cloud is very important. Now, the cloud offers so many benefits because it allows you to scale and grow your WordPress hosting website, your WordPress website. Let's say if you're just a small mom and pop business, then you need to be on the cloud, but you don't need to pay for a bunch of resources that you're not going to use. Now, if you're starting a blog or maybe a news-based website, then you need room to grow. Especially in 2018, we've seen a lot of cryptocurrency blogs get started, and the popularity to that has really exploded over the last 6 months. So we've seen a lot of websites that came in last year in 2017. They started with a small package, and using the cloud, they can scale on up. Same with you that own small businesses. You start off with a little tiny package as you build your business. As it gets popular, you need more resources to host your website so you can bring in new customers. And that your current customers, of course, can continue reading your website. So for the first part of this video, I want to highlight our services at NameHero. I want to compare against some of the competitors out there so you can see an overview of other services that offer WordPress cloud hosting. And then I'm going to show you actually how to set up and install your WordPress website on the cloud. So this is going to be a complete video tutorial. I'll also have some shortcut links throughout this video, or at the bottom of this video in the description. So if you don't want to watch from A to Z, you can kind of skip ahead to the parts that you need to see at the given time when you're watching this video. You might also decide that you need to pause this video and come back, and that's completely appropriate as well. So before we hit on our cloud WordPress hosting packages at NameHero, I want to take a look at some of the competitors so you can kind of see all the options out there throughout the industry. Now, I'm recording this video being the CEO of NameHero, but by no means are you obligated to sign up with us at NameHero. I'm doing this video to help others so that you can get your WordPress website on the cloud, because I feel like, especially in 2018, 2019, 2020, the old school traditional dedicated servers, the old school web hosts, it's really taking steps backwards. So you're going to see pretty much all the hosting companies eventually move into the cloud. So in 2018, it should be your goal, if you have a website, if you have a WordPress website, or if you're thinking about starting one, to start fresh on the cloud. And if you already have one, you need to look at moving it over to the cloud, because you're going to find a much safer, high-speed, reliable, and secure infrastructure for your website. So let's first take a look at WPEngine.com. They're one of the leading managed WordPress hosting solutions out there. I've got a couple of their packages up on the screen. They start off with their personal package for one WordPress installation. They allow up to 25,000 visitors a month. They allow for up to 10 gigabytes of storage, and they allow free SSL certificates. Now, all of this starts at $29 a month. Now, in my opinion, this is a little bit steep, and I'll talk more about price as we get through these packages and the different competitors. WP Engine, they kind of justify their charges because they were one of the first to really offer a managed WordPress infrastructure. That's all they host. They don't host any other type of websites besides WordPress. So since they were kind of first in the market, they were able to kind of set the price for their customers. They've got a professional package, which allows you to have up to 10 installations, up to 100,000 visitors a month, 20 gigabytes of storage, and of course free SSL certificates. This package is $99 a month. We go on down here and they have their business package. It allows up to 25 installations, 400,000 visitors, 30 gigabytes of storage for $249 a month. And of course, any more than that, they have a premium section to where you have to contact them. And of course, they have enterprise for those that are really pushing a lot of traffic. Now, if you continue on down on their site, you can kind of see a little bit more information about their infrastructure. You'll notice that this shared infrastructure is here, 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 and then it's dedicated. Then enterprise goes to dedicated clusters. So let's explain that really quick. A shared environment means you're not the only customer on that given server. So even if this is built up into the cloud, if the server's in the cloud, which WP Engine uses, that means that you're still going to be sharing that cloud node with another customer. And that's most hosting packages under a couple $100 a month. They're not dedicated because, of course, to have your own dedicated machine, it is more expensive. So that's nothing new there, but they put it up front so you can see it's shared, then it goes into dedicated. In my opinion, I feel like $250 a month for a shared solution is still kind of steep. But again, WP Engine was first to market, so they can kind of name their price. So we can go on down here and look more of the features. They limit by storage. So they limit how many visits and the storage that you can have. And this is, so with WordPress, the actual WordPress install is not that much. You're looking at maybe about 500 megabytes, 1/2 gigabyte. You can say just you need 1 gigabyte to be safe. But really that extra storage is for your images, your plugins, your themes, everything else you're going to add. When you're setting up your WordPress, when you go into upload images, that takes some storage. And especially if you're going to be like hosting videos, that takes up storage as well. We actually see most of our customers at NameHero, they upload their videos to YouTube because YouTube's free and you can embed the videos, it's full HD, and it only makes sense to use a free service for all those really heavy files versus paying for it at your web host. Okay, so going on down, they've got 24/7 chat support. I don't believe that's phone. They've got staging. So staging means that you're able to spin up a example or demonstration section so you can kind of test your site before you go live. It's pretty handy. Transferable installs. This means you can move, you can transfer the install from a paid account. It's great for agencies and freelancers. So, if you're a WordPress designer, a developer, you're going to develop it and you want to transfer the install to someone else. PHP 7 ready. PHP 7 is really the new standard. PHP 5.6 was the previous version before 7, and that's going to be reaching the end of life here, I believe, here in 2018. So really all web hosts are moving to PHP 7. So this really is not a feature anymore. Large FS, I believe this is their file storage, and it integrates with Amazon S3. They have a content delivery network. You can see this is $19.95 a month. So this is kind of a different fee here. If you want to use their CDN, it's an additional $19.95 a month. So instead of $30 a month, you're going to be paying $50 a month if you want to use their CDN. What we do at NameHero, and I can only compare to that, is that we integrate directly with Cloudflare because they've got a wonderful content delivery network, and they also have their Railgun technology that we're integrated with. So kind of using both of those together, you're able to save a lot more than buying an extra third-party CDN. So you can see they charge additional on their starter package, but then the other ones they include. Then for the dedicated, they give you 1,000 gigabytes for free, or a terabyte. Okay, they're optimized for page performance. They have automatic SSL certificates, imported SSL certificates. This means you can bring your SSL certificates you already have over. But if you have the automatic ones, there's really no need to do that. 24/7 phone support. You can see their basic package does not have phone, and they do have it on the other ones. Multi-site. You can only have one site in their basic. Geo-target enabled. This means you can target to certain countries and eliminate other countries. Content performance. This is additional performance. Application performance. Consultative onboarding means they'll talk to you about your setup. Launch readiness assessment. They'll make sure you're ready to launch. Customer success management. 24/7 ticket support and high availability. So you can see they don't even offer tickets unless you have an enterprise account. So this means you have to solve your issues. If you have this basic package, you can only get help with live chat. We're seeing a lot of hosting companies in 2018 move to live chat only. When I get over to Hostgator and Bluehost here in a second, I believe both of them have moved to only 24/7 chat support, and they also have their phone numbers. And I think companies are doing this just because they're not trying to get a big ticket queue. They want to get the issue resolved on live chat. The problem that I see with that is it creates somewhat of a bottleneck of support. So if you have a lot of people running for support at once, then sometimes you can have people waiting 20, 30 minutes, even an hour for a live chat operator to come available. Now, depending on some hours of the day, you can get it no problem. I've always personally, I like the ticket-based system because it allows you to submit your issue, a technician to review that issue and reply back with a response, and then have everything documented. So in case you need to go back to that case later on, everything is documented. Whereas if you're doing live chats, you're not chances are of getting the same chat operator that solved your first issue are probably slim, especially if they're a larger organization. And so that technician, maybe he's gone or off shift and you have to work with a new tech. So that's why I like tickets, is because one technician can get started and kind of see that whole thing through. You may feel different about that, but that's just kind of how I feel about it. But you can see with their basic package, you cannot get phone support. You cannot get ticket support. It's only live chat. If you move over to the next package, it's only chat, and they do have phone support. And then you get to their other ones, and of course they offer no tickets other than only tickets with the enterprise. These other couple here, they offer phone support and chat support as well. So that's kind of what they offer at WP Engine. Like I said, they were really first to market with managed WordPress hosting. So again, they're able to set a little bit higher price than other companies just because their brand, WP Engine, is well known now throughout the WordPress community. And I've personally heard some pretty good things about it. Now, I know we've had some other customers that's come over from WP Engine that are not so happy. So I've seen kind of both ends of the spectrum. I admire what they're doing in the WordPress community, and I think they're a pretty solid company overall. I personally just think they're a little bit expensive for just hosting a couple of websites. So let's look over here at Hostgator. So they've got cloud hosting and WordPress hosting. I find this a little bit confusing because if I go to cloud, I can see, okay, single domain, 2 gigabytes memory, 2 core CPU. I see kind of the same prices, and then WordPress, I don't see really they've got the visits listed versus the resources. So I'm going to assume that their WordPress cloud hosting and cloud hosting is basically the same thing, just called different things. And they're kind of making it a little bit simpler. If you click how do we stack up against the competitors, you can see they've got WP Engine, they've got Media Temple, and they've got themselves here. And they kind of show their storage off, their email addresses. That's really, in my opinion, that's not much of a comparison. And here we go. We can get a little bit more. Their starting offer is $7.95. The monthly renewal cost $7.95 to $20. The sites are, of course, important. The storage is important. They offer 24/7, 365 support. And notice HostGator's not mentioning the tickets in here. They've got the live chat, they've got the phone number, but they don't mention anything about their tickets here. Global CDN, HostGator includes it. WP Engine, of course, doesn't with their basic. Media Temple doesn't either. HostGator includes migrations, automatic malware removal, and the $100 AdWords coupon. This is funny that a lot of companies still do this because really, if you reach out to AdWords, they're going to give you maybe even $250 in free coupons if you're a new advertiser. So that's really, I don't really see that as a selling point because all you have to do is call Google and say, hey, Google, I want to start advertising my business. And a lot of times they'll say, hey, we've got a promo, spend your first $50 so we know you're a legitimate real customer, and then we're going to give you $250 in credits. So we see that a lot, but some companies still kind of tout that voucher. But again, I don't think that's a tremendous selling point anymore. If I go back up here to their packages, though, this is all they really tell us. If I go to compare all plans, you can see I get a little bit more of this of the meat and potatoes of the actual package. They have a starter, 1 site, max traffic, 100,000 a month. Standards, 2 sites, 200,000. Business is 3 sites, 500,000. Relative compute power. So this is where this is different than the cloud because they don't tell you the exact resources. They just say 2 times the compute power. Me personally, I like to know the exact resources because this can really mean anything. 2 times what? So you really have to kind of dig through their terms and see, well, 2 times what computing power? 2 times the regular hosting? That's what I'm going to assume they mean here. It's 2 times faster than their regular hosting. So this probably means they're using a web server different than Apache, probably Nginx. I'm going to go off and say probably Nginx, maybe LiteSpeed. So that's probably how they're justifying that. Maybe they are allocating more RAM and CPU cores, but again, since they don't tell us, we can only make assumptions. 100% free migrations. They'll migrate 1 site, they'll migrate 2 sites, they'll migrate 3 sites for you. And of course, that's a selling feature, but if you've moved WordPress before, you can migrate these sites pretty easily yourself. Just WordPress is just files and a database, so you can pretty much upload your old files, import the database, and you can do it yourself. I know HostGator probably has some scripts to help do that. At NameHero, we do up to 10 migrations as long as you previously used cPanel for free. Malware removal, this is an important selling feature nowadays, is that, you want to have your site scanned. WordPress sites, if they're not kept updated, if you don't update your plugins regularly, if you don't update your WordPress core, if you don't keep your themes updated, then what happens, because of the open source nature of WordPress, hackers and evildoers and bad guys, so to speak, are always kind of scanning the code for holes where they can penetrate their malware. So, and this is the reason why WordPress sites get messed up, is because of malware. And a lot of the hackers or bad guys, they have their own objective. Sometimes they want to take over your site. Sometimes they want to distribute stuff like adware or malware to other infected computers, or to infect other computers. And sometimes they want to send out email spam. So there's always an objective. But regardless, you always need a good malware protection. And so good job for Hostgator for offering this. Each night they're going to scan your site. If they detect malware, they're automatically going to remove it. Storage space. So you can see here it says unmetered, which is interesting. So I go down here, or if I compare it again, or go to their comparison, I thought, there's a limit on the storage on their comparison. So maybe they just changed that recently and they haven't updated it on this page. That's kind of confusing to me. So I'm not quite sure what they mean about that. It's saying unmetered here, but then you see a limit there. So if you're going to buy with Hostgator, you might want to hit up their chat and say, which is it? Unmetered or 500? Where's the limit? Because I'm getting mixed things. I'm not sure. Not being a Hostgator employee, again, I can only make assumptions. So the business plan, you can see it starts at $9.95 a month, and that's a getting started price. I don't see the other asterisk. Here it is. Prices reflect discount on first term. So that means the first billing term is going to be discounted. Okay, so that's Hostgator, WP Engine, Hostgator. Let's go look at Bluehost. Bluehost is owned by the same company as Hostgator, but we're looking at their WordPress hosting. So if you hover over hosting and click WordPress hosting, you're going to get this page here. Now they tout optimized hosting for WordPress. So let's take a look about how it's different. It says it's built on revolutionary VPS technology, and they've made an infrastructure uniquely designed for WordPress. Everything you need to use is here. So you can see, look, they've got some interesting visit limits. 100 million visits a month for $19.99 a month, 300 million for $29.95, 600 million in unlimited. I've personally ran some really popular websites, One of my websites used to do 250,000 uniques a day, and that was prior to starting NameHero, and I actually sold that company to start NameHero. I really don't believe that this would handle it, but maybe it would. The only way you could do is put it on there and try it. But I'm going to go off on a limb here and say if you're doing 300 million visits a month, you're probably not going to choose a $29.99 a month plan at Bluehost. Just going to go out there and say that because I pretty much was, let's just call this unlimited, because I just feel like if you're doing really this much traffic, you're probably going to build out something custom. I know with all my really popular sites in the past, we've always built out custom solutions once we're reaching the 100 million visitors a month mark. So that's interesting that you see that. Storage, again, if you're going to reach 100 million visitors a month, I'm going to probably go off to the limb. You're saying you're going to use more storage in this, but it's just me. So storage, they limit to 30 gigabytes, 60 gigabytes, 120, 240 gigabytes. Backup, of course, that's important. RAM. So, okay, this is good because they're specifying the amount of RAM that you're going to get. If you're getting 100 million visitors a month, 2 gigabytes of RAM is not going to be fast. I can promise you that. I've been in the WordPress community for a long time. I've used WordPress for a long time. I've been developing websites and using hosting and developing hosting for 20 years now. 2 gigabytes of RAM will not serve 100 million visitors a month. So again, they should just put unlimited on here because I feel like that's kind of confusing. That's a big number to put on there with 2 gigabytes of RAM. I just don't see how that's even possible. I challenge someone, if you're watching this video and you get 100 million visitors a month, go over to Bluehost, sign up, and let me know, please, because if I'm wrong, I want to know as well. But I just think that's way too much. 4 gigabytes, 300 million, I don't see how that would even be humanly possible for the WordPress software to work with that. Again, maybe they're running a special database cluster, but I feel like if you send that much traffic, that something is going to happen. IP addresses, so they give you a dedicated IP. This is similar to like VPS hosting technology. This is good if you're sending a lot of emails using your account. I don't know if they allow emails on these or not, but that's typically why you would use a dedicated IP address. Sometimes for SEO purposes, you want to have a dedicated IP for your site, so perhaps that's that. Promise 30 days money back, pretty standard. Support 24/7. They don't say tickets or phone or chat on here, but from what I've heard throughout the industry, that Bluehost has moved just to live chat support, and of course they've got their phone number at the top of their page right here. Well, actually, that's their sales line. So they've got the chat. They don't have support on the phone anymore. They have chat support. I don't believe they have a ticket system anymore, and I believe that's why they don't list it on here, because I don't believe they have that anymore. cPanel, so they do have a cPanel that comes with it. That's good. Content Delivery Network, they have SiteLock CDN, SiteLock. The security, that's what they use, is SiteLock as well. SSL, they have the free SSL certificates on here. Their big one here has a wildcard, which means you can use this on multiple domains. So I think that's the big reason for that. So really, the big difference I see in their managed WordPress is the RAM and the storage. Again, I just don't really know. These numbers seem really high for visitors a month. Just don't see that really being possible. Again, maybe I am wrong. And maybe it's worth giving them a call or chat if you're thinking about going with their managed hosting. Let's go look at SiteGround. SiteGround, well-respected host throughout the industry, been around for 10, 15 years now. This is, if you go to WordPress services and click on WordPress hosting, you get this page here. If you scroll down, you'll see their plans, starting at $3.95 a month. Going up to $11.95. The regular price is $29, or the price is $14.95, or the price $9.95. So you got an introductory rate. They've got WordPress features. Let's see if we can't see all plan details and break all this down for you. Okay, so startup, grow big, go geek. So they have their monthly visits. So this is more like that, more like it, so to speak. 10,000 visitors a month for $3.95 a month, 25,000 for $5.95, 100,000 for $11.95. So it looks like to me these are definitely much more realistic numbers. It seems like from my experience, it's especially I can kind of relate to that. And so they're trying to make this easy on webmasters, especially those that own small businesses. They don't know anything about RAM or CPU cores. They just know, hey, I get 10 visitors a day, or I get 30 visitors a day, or I get 1,000 visitors a day. So this kind of helps them pick a plan. And we try to do this at NameHero, which we'll get to ours here last, and talk about that as well. So web space, how much storage can you have? 10 gigabytes, 20 gigabytes, 30 gigabytes. Once again, WordPress uses about 500 megabytes, maybe a gigabyte, and then the rest is used for your media. Websites hosted, you can have one, unlimited, data transfers. So this is bandwidth. They don't meter it. Bandwidth is cheap in 2018. Back in the early days of the web hosting industry, or even the mid to early 2000s, bandwidth was a lot more expensive. So web hosts had to limit that. But nowadays, it's really not one of those things that you bill for, just because for a site to use up all the bandwidth, most of the time they're going to be using their own server, a dedicated VPS or something just dedicated to them. Because it's very rare that you see that nowadays, especially with the streaming services such as YouTube and Vimeo. You just don't see any need to offer tremendous amounts of bandwidth. You don't see people using it up. Okay, so they've got a free drag and drop builder, a free site transfer, free email accounts, unlimited SQL databases, unlimited sub and park domains, cPanel with the app installer, 30-day money back. So that's pretty standard stuff. They give you more features: free WordPress install, free WordPress transfer, free auto update, free advanced security, free WordPress related support. They have WP CLI pre-installed. This is a command line interface, the WP CLI is. So this allows you to SSH into your account and run commands for WordPress command line to do stuff such as editing, updating, installing plugins and all that. More advanced WordPress users use this. This is something at NameHero that we're also integrated with. If you go to the WP command line interface page on WordPress.org, you'll see NameHero is an approved host as well. Glad to see SiteGround offering this. It's not the average WordPress user is not going to use this, but developers out there use it a good bit. And template developers use it. And again, the more advanced WordPress users really want that. So they've got a special cache for WordPress. It's a premium, so they don't offer it on their introductory package. They offer it on the other two. One-click WordPress staging, so they only offer it on the one. And again, we saw WP Engine offering this. And I think this is one of the main selling points at WP Engine is you can actually clone your WordPress install to kind of make changes to it before it goes live. So it's a staging area. Now, if those of you have ever ran WordPress before, setting up a staging area is not that complicated. You basically just clone the install over, clone the database, and you make your changes, and then make that the next live site or database. Okay, they've got a Git repository creation for their advanced. That's pretty good, but more for the advanced users using GitHub. Server on 3 continents, so this means they have USA, Europe, and Asia Pacific. That's pretty good because a lot of people like to have a server closest to the location for download speed. SSD storage using SSD drives. Solid state drives are the new industry standard. If Webhost is using old SATA drives, that's like the old hard drives that have moving parts. Right now, as I'm recording this film, I've got an old SATA drive sitting right next to me from an old computer I had, and I was actually using it to try to get some data off of it because in all my computers that I use now, I use the solid state drives. They're a lot smaller. They have a lot less pieces, which means they stay good a lot longer. They don't go bad because they don't have all the moving parts in them. Most all web hosts, if they haven't already moved to it, they're in the process of transitioning to SSD. It's also a lot faster, so your websites can load a lot faster on SSD. I know Bluehost and Hostgator for sure still have a lot of SATA drives they use, so that's important to ask. And you can see SiteGround even says up to 1,000 time increase in input-output I/O rate with SSD. Of course, you want to be using SSD on your website hosting. If you're not, you need to change up your web host or ask your web host what they can do to get you on SSD. It's very important. Customized server setup, so they'll kind of tweak your server. Free CDN, a content delivery network. It's pretty standard. HTTP2, that's the newest protocol for HTTP. This is now becoming pretty much standard across all web servers. It's a lot faster. So Hypertext Transfer Protocol is HTTP. HTTP1 came out in the 90s and lasted all the way up until really 2014, maybe 2012, HTTP2 started coming out. Now in 2018, it's pretty standard for everyone to have HTTP2. It basically how the browser handles the request to the site, allows much faster downloading of elements and just makes the site a lot faster overall. Super cache, so they have level 1, all three levels. So this is how good the page caches. So this means when someone loads your website, they have to download all the resources, all the images, all the style sheets, all the JavaScript. And when they go to the next page, it caches that in their browser, so it's a lot faster. So they kind of tout their super cacher, which is their own in-house caching engine. So that's pretty cool. There's a lot of caching plugins out there for WordPress, and you can research it, and we'll talk more about it once we get to NameHero. Since they developed their own, I can't speak too much about it. You can see that level 1 is static content. Level 2 uses Nginx to cache, and then level 3 actually caches the database queries. So it's kind of a three-pronged approach they're using. I'm sure it's good stuff. I've heard great things about SiteGround. So down here, they've got some more infrastructure stuff, power redundancy, backup generators. I mean, everyone really has that. Hardware redundancy. They have on-site replacement parts, every model. So in case something happens, it's pretty standard. LXC-based stability. This is on the Linux containers. In the kernels so they are stabilized. Some people use a kernel product called Kernel Care to make sure the kernels are tested and valid, because that's actually what loads up the operating system, what boots up Linux. You kind of get some really technical stuff talking about that, but basically it's saying the kernel is stable on the servers. Unique account isolation. This at some hosts is called Caged File System, CageFS. This is where all the files for PHP is unique to that user. So in case the site becomes compromised, or in case that one install gets compromised, the whole machine does not get compromised. So you see this with most web hosts nowadays, they're isolating this as well, but they do point it out. They monitor the servers. They say it's the fastest. So that's cool. Anti-hack systems and help. So I'm going to guess this is like their malware. Proactive updates and patches, or updating and patching everything as they come out. Spam spam prevention, don't want spam. Daily backup, they do 1 copy, 30 copies. They have a backup restoration tool for these. Premium backup restoration for the enterprise. Go down here, they've got 24/7 support. Let's see, do they have tickets or fast reaction? We are proud. It doesn't say. Most serious issues in 5-minute resolution. That's good. I don't see if it's tickets, support, or chat or phone. I'm going to guess it's all three. SiteGround's known to be pretty good. We help more than any host. It's a nice claim. Okay, here we go. Phone, chat, and tickets right below my eyes. My goodness. So yeah, they have all that, which is good. They're still offering that. Your issues are solved with priority, so it's kind of an extra selling point. Free shopping cart install, free Let's Encrypt certificates. So we're seeing, more and more of this. PCI compliance, you have to have their premium package for that. So if you're going to be accepting credit cards and actually storing those numbers on your site, you have to have a PCI compliant server. And that's a server that meets certain standards to your merchant processor. If you are accepting credit cards, then you probably already know the requirements you have to have. Your merchant account will actually send those to you so you can pass those on to your web host so you get the correct compliance. Now, most people nowadays are using Stripe, PayPal, merchant accounts that actually store that really secure data on their servers, so you don't have to worry about being PCI compliant. It's really the old school type merchants that that you want to store that need PCI compliant. I'm not seeing as much of that in 2018, but I am seeing some of it. Some people want to store that on their own servers. Me being a business owner myself, I don't like to store that stuff because if something would happen, a data breach, it just brings a tremendous amount of liability. So I don't like to store users' credit cards on my servers. We do offer PCI compliance at NameHero. We're more than happy to help you set it up for you, but just me personally, I don't like to be responsible for it. I like to use Stripe and let Stripe secure that on their end, use PayPal, let PayPal secure it on their end, and us just simply focus on what we're good at, just web hosting. Multiple PHP versions, this is pretty standard. Again, 7.0 is the standard now, but they have multiple versions. Perl and Python, SSH and SFTP is pretty standard. MySQL and Postgres. Postgres is pretty good that they has that. They have that that you can use on your site. FTP accounts, many more technologies supported. So they've got many more that's not listed. GitHub's pre-installed staging and Git to advance. And then, of course, they've got their order buttons. So that's SiteGround in a nutshell. I hear really good things about SiteGround, and if you do your research in the WordPress community, they're much respected. So I got a lot of respect for these guys and gals there. I think their prices are pretty well in line with the industry as a whole. And, overall, I like SiteGround. And, if I didn't know NameHero out of all the hosts I've reviewed so far for WordPress, I would probably go with SiteGround. But again, I'm going to be biased because of NameHero. So let's go over here and look at NameHero and talk about what we offer and, how we're different than the other hosts we've reviewed, and why I'm going to set up today's WordPress site on NameHero. So first off, you can see we list our top benefits up here, the turbo cloud speed. All of our infrastructures are placed on our high-speed cloud. So at any given point in time, if we need to add additional resources, we can add them on the fly. We never have to take a server offline and go screw in a new SSD drive or take it apart and put some more RAM in the motherboard. That doesn't happen because we're on the cloud. We need to add more resources. We simply push a couple buttons and it all adds automatically and scales on up. One-click installation. People like this, and pretty much every one of the hosts I've covered so far, I believe all of them. I'm not sure how WP Engines works, but I know Hostgator, Bluehost, and SiteGround, they all use cPanel, which has the one-click WordPress install. So that means you don't have to go download the files from WordPress.org and install it. You just go and fill out a couple of forms, which you'll see later on in this demonstration video, how to do that. It just keeps it super easy and in order. You don't have to worry about any technical knowledge to install WordPress. Nightly malware scan. So this is something big we do at NameHero and have for a long time. We nightly will scan every WordPress install that's on our servers. If it comes up with malware, we will automatically remove that for free, no charge. And that keeps your site safe and secure. Of course, the best defense against getting hacked or having malware injected into your site is keeping WordPress and the plugins and your themes updated. But if you slip and you don't do that, then of course you can rest assured that we're going to scan the server each night. So if we see any on there, that we are going to take it off. But again, I recommend kind of staying in front of this, keeping your plugins updated, keeping WordPress updated, keeping your theme updated, because that's going to help keep the bad guys out. Also, keeping a nice secure password and username for WordPress. Those are kind of no-brainers when it comes to security, but it's something that you must do. But of course, we do have the malware scanning that's going to help that out as well. So high-speed and secure WordPress hosting, try risk-free. At NameHero, we have a 30-day money-back guarantee on all of our packages. So if you try us out for 30 days, you don't like it, you can simply submit a request. We will give you your money back at the first of every month is when we process those, and really no questions asked. If you don't like it, you don't like it. So you can try it risk-free. So right now we're running our Winter Heroes special. It's January of 2018. So you can see our prices. The normal rate is up here crossed out, and the current rate is posted in big and bold font. So you can see we start off by letting you know how many visitors a month each package can host. So again, we do this for the novice, for the WordPress beginner, the small business owners. I frequently reference my dad that owns a self-storage facility. He doesn't know anything about how much storage he needs, how much bandwidth he needs. Only thing he knows is how many people are going to the site on a monthly basis. He knows about how many customers he has up at the mini storage. He knows how many people are searching him on Google, how many people are coming online to pay their bill. So that lets people like him just easily choose a plan. They can say, yep, I need this plan here, and I'm off to the races. So that's why we do that. And that's why I like how SiteGround lists that as well. Bluehost, gosh, you can go to the moon with Bluehost accordingly. But I think our numbers here are pretty realistic to what you can actually host. Up to 10,000, up to 25,000, up to 50,000, up to 100,000. If you get more than 100,000 monthly visits to your WordPress and you're with us at NameHero, this doesn't mean that we're done with you. This means that you need to move to a VPS, and you can click the link at the top for VPS hosting. In this video, I'm not going to be talking about our VPS hosting solutions, but rest assured, if you hit that level, if you hit more than 100,000 visitors a month, we can easily take your site, automatically move it over to the VPS, which is a dedicated machine to just your site will be on it, and it'll handle those additional visitors. This is all done and seamlessly. You don't have any downtime or anything like that. Our technicians handle the whole move for you. They keep you informed the entire way. And that's the same with any of our packages. You can start off, if you're a startup, brand new company, start at the starter. You get more, move to the plus. You get more, go to the turbo. You get more visitors, go to the business. NameHero, one of the biggest things about our cloud is it's scalable. That's the benefit to a cloud nowadays, is you don't have to take your machine offline, install a new hard drive, add more RAM to handle the visitors. It's the cloud. You can scale up instantaneously. It's seamless. So it's important to note that. So the starter cloud, we allow for one WordPress website. So this is those of you that have one WordPress install or just interested in starting one WordPress site. The plus, you can have up to 6. The turbo, you can have unlimited. We don't meter this. Now, when we get into talking about unlimited, some people say, Ryan, okay, cool. What's the limit? Well, of course, I wouldn't recommend hosting more than 20, 30 sites in one of these hosting accounts. Really, when you're hosting in these, you're looking at WordPress sites for your own organization. You would not want to host your organization, your friends, your neighbor, your son or daughters, your grandma or grandpa's, because that's not as secure. What we're really talking about when you're hosting unlimited-based websites, this means maybe you have a website for your main business, and then maybe you have a sister company and you set up a WordPress for that. Maybe you have a special promotion that you're running, or maybe it's like a wintertime sale or even a holiday special website, something that's seasonal, and you set that up. That's what we see hosting unlimited websites for. It's not so much for, you're hosting other people in there. If you're going to do that, you need a reseller account, really, where you can create multiple cPanels. All of our WordPress plans come with one cPanel login. And cPanel, unfortunately, they only allow one login per cPanel. So if you share that, whoever you share that with is going to have access to all your sites. So really, you only want to host the websites that you're going to be using. Now, of course, it's appropriate if you have a business website and you say, well, I want a personal blog too. I want to have a blog that I can post my personal stuff on. Well, that's appropriate, but this is meant for really one individual or one organization to kind of have flexibility, to have multiple websites of their own. Now, at NameHero, we include one free domain registration or transfer for the first year. So we understand, because we're entrepreneurs ourselves, I've been for 20 years, when you're just starting your business, it seems like there's so many fees off the top of the bat. You have to have web hosting. You have to get a domain. So we try to ease that on you. For your first year, we say, well, we're going to cover that domain registration or transfer fee for free. After the second year, it renews at the normal rate, but we're going to cover that for your first year. So we include that for all of our packages to kind of keep your overhead low and just be a convenience. Because, a domain, it's not that expensive. We're talking $12 a year. It's just, not even maybe $1 a month, right? So it's not a huge expense, but it's just a kind of a bonus that we give all of our new customers. Unlimited SSD storage. We don't limit you to the storage that you can have on your account. And the reason being is because nowadays with SSD drives, for the most part, storage is pretty cheap, right? And since we're on the cloud, we can scale up and add storage to our nodes at any time. But there has to be a limit, and so that's why we have this little info button, and you can hover over it. We limit by inodes instead of storage, because of course if you just have one, if you have a zip file full of files or whatever, that's not going to count against your inode limit. Inodes is the actual number of files you have. So we have 100,000, 250,000 limit. The 100,000 is a soft limit, meaning that after you reach 100,000, the account doesn't shut off. It just gives you a warning that, hey, you're over the soft limit. You can have up to 250,000 files before the account needs to be upgraded. And the only thing is, with our nightly backups, we limit those to only 100,000 inodes or 100,000 files. If we were to raise that, it would actually affect the whole performance of the server node itself. So that's kind of why we have that inode limit at 100,000. 100,000 files is a lot. Initial WordPress installs don't take up many files at all. I mean, gosh, maybe 1,000. It doesn't use many inodes at all. So 100,000 is quite a few to have, and the majority of you all watching this video are not going to come close to that. So with our starter and our plus, it's 100,000 soft, 250,000 hard. So really 250,000, you have to worry about it. The Turbo Cloud is 500,000 hard, and the Business is 500,000 hard. So kind of if you reach this limit, if you reach the 250,000, you just have to upgrade to the next one. And of course, if you reach that 500,000 limit there, it's time to move to a VPS. Or a lot of times too, our technicians can look at your account and say, hey, you really have some caching files and these need to be purged. They're not doing you any good here. We need to just clear these out. So a lot of times our technicians can kind of advise you how to optimize that limit. Unmetered bandwidth, much as all the competitors we've seen, bandwidth is cheap in 2018, so we don't really place a limit on that, or we don't place a limit on that. You're really going to run out of CPU or RAM before you start running into bandwidth limits, so rather than putting some limit on there that you're probably not going to reach anyways, we just say it's unmetered. For many years, really up until 2018, I guess we never did have a limit on bandwidth. We do with our reseller accounts, but for the most part, in individual sites, you're not going to come anywhere close to that. So now next we talk about the CPU cores and the RAM. So this is the actual computing power that you have to power your website. So the more CPU and the more RAM, the faster your website is going to perform. Now, if you have a basic WordPress installation with just WordPress, the default theme and very minimal plugins, 1 CPU, 1 gigabyte of RAM is fine. But the more plugins you start adding, the more themes, the more complex your theme is, the more of these resources you start to use. This is also relative to the number of visitors that you get per day or per month. The more visitors you have, the more RAM and CPU power you need to compute them to process all of that. So really, these numbers go right back into the number of visitors you get a month. As you can see, the more visitors, the more RAM, the more computing power. So again, the good thing about NameHero is you can start off at the starter. And inside of our cPanel, we show you where you are on this spectrum. We have a nice little chart that will say, okay, you're using so much CPU, you're using so much RAM. And if you start to hit those limits, we're not going to suspend the site. You'll just simply see a message that, hey, it's time to upgrade. And then we can seamlessly upgrade you to the next step. Again, this is the benefit of being on the cloud. You don't have to pay for all these resources you're not going to use. People like my father with his mini storage website, he's not even going to come close to using a gigabyte of RAM. So why does he need to pay for 4 gigabytes of RAM when he's not going to use it? And then the person that's getting 100,000 monthly visitors, they're going to use it. So the purpose of listing these limits and having these packages set out the way they are just allows you to only pay for the resources that you're actually going to use. And so we want to be realistic with people. We don't want to just set, we don't want you to pay for stuff that you're not going to be using. Free SSL, HTTPS, I believe all the other companies that we've reviewed, they now include this. The year 2017 was really the year of free SSL. I know when I first started NameHero 3 years ago, secure certificates were our biggest upsell. Almost 90% of our customers ordered one certificate from us. So this was a big revenue hit, and we started offering these for free. But really, Google has said now that they prioritize sites in their search engine results that have SSL. So if you don't, you're actually going to fall lower in the search results. This used to be only for websites that are having e-commerce transactions and collecting personal data to buy or purchase stuff or to get email addresses. Well, nowadays, SSL is a standard, and we decided to make these free and unlimited for everyone to create a safer, more secure internet. We want to be part of the solution, not be part of the problem. So we want to create a secure, safer internet for everyone. So every hosting package at NameHero, regardless if you're on our basic hosting, our reseller hosting, or our VPSs, has free and unlimited SSL certificates. You don't have to pay for a certificate. Now, if you need a premium certificate, such as a wildcard, such as you want the green address bar, there is an extra fee for that, and our sales technicians can certainly help generate a quote for you and let you know the best route to go on that. But really, 9 out of 10 customers, or really 9.5 out of 10 customers, the free SSL is all they need. Free SSD with RAID 10. So as I was talking about earlier, all web hosts pretty much are using solid state drives now because they are so much faster, they are more reliable and redundant. I think Hostgator, they still have some old servers with SATA drives. That's an important question to ask. If you don't want to go with NameHero, okay, you don't have to, but ask whatever host you're going with, hey, do you have SSD drives? Because if they don't, they're using old technology, and it's going to cost you in speed. It also could cost you in downtime, because SATA drives, and again, I've got one right next to my hand right now. I'm touching it. They have a lot of moving parts. And so it's really not a matter of if, it's a matter of when they're going to fail. Eventually in their lifetime, a SATA drive is going to fail. And one of those pieces in it's going to break, okay? It's like a car. A car is not going to run infinity. A SATA hard drive is not going to run infinity. It's going to go down, so it's a matter of when. The SSD parts, the SSD drives, they don't have moving parts. It's like a solid piece. Some manufacturers call it like a flash drive even, or flash memory. I know the new MacBooks I'm using right now, it's got a solid state drive, and you can, if you ever use a Mac, you know how fast they are. Well, that's one of the reasons why. It's just really fast at the read and writes on the hard drive. So that's free on everything at NameHero. We don't own any SATA drives. We don't have a server. We don't have servers with SATA drives. So we don't even have that to offer you. Now, what makes us a little bit different than the other people we've talked about so far is we protect this with RAID 10. RAID 10 is actually hardware and software that goes into the server that actually duplicates that solid state drive in real time. In the rare case that solid drive fails, we have another drive that's been mirrored the entire time. So it's not a backup, so to speak, but it's a failover type solution. So let's say one of the SSD drives burns up in the server. Well, if it didn't use RAID 10 or RAID 1 or RAID technology, then the data on that drive could potentially be lost, which could be catastrophic. Well, instead, we're mirroring that drive using RAID 10 technology in real time. So it's a redundancy piece is what we use RAID 10 for. And again, I'm not sure, I didn't see it on any of the previous hosts that I covered, so I'm going to assume they're not using it. That might be a pre-sales question, though, if you choose to use one of them. At NameHero, we use the LiteSpeed cache. And if you go over here to our blog and you click on it, you're going to find some articles that I've personally written and some tutorials I've done on the LiteSpeed cache. The LiteSpeed cache works with the LiteSpeed web server. And if you go down here and over superhero features, you're going to see we use LiteSpeed web server on every one of them. A lot of web hosts use the Apache web server. And so the other hosts we covered, some of them use Apache, some of them use Nginx, some use LiteSpeed. But we like LiteSpeed because it's up to 10 to 20 times faster than Apache. It's a premium-based web server, and it's a lightweight web server with its own PHP handler. And if I'm speaking German right now, just kind of go along with it. It's a lot faster. And it also handles HTTP2 requests by default. So remember, we talked about that Hypertext Transfer Protocol 2, which is kind of the new standard in 2018. So LiteSpeed kind of takes care of all of that for us. And if you've used basic hosting, like the regular hosting at Bluehost or the regular hosting at Hostgator, they use Apache. And so you're going to see a tremendous speed benefit just moving the web server to LiteSpeed. LiteSpeed costs money where Apache is free and open source. So we actually pay a licensing fee to LiteSpeed every single month. So along with the LiteSpeed web server, we offer the LiteSpeed cache for all of our WordPress hosting packages. So what I did recently is I recorded a tutorial on our blog about the LiteSpeed cache, and you can see if you watch that tutorial how much faster it makes your website. So remember, SiteGround has their own caching. I believe Bluehost has a type of cache. I'm sure HostGator has one, and WP Engine has a custom caching engine too. LiteSpeed cache is actually the most popular, and according to independent studies of WordPress plugins, it's the fastest WordPress caching plugin on the market today. So that's what third parties have said. Me personally, it's the second plugin I install, or first plugin I install. It's the first plugin I install when I do WordPress. right before I install Wordfence security. So I'll get into that as I get towards the setup portion of this video. I'm going to show you how to set up and configure LiteSpeed cache. If you've never done it before, it's super easy. You don't have to have any technical skills or requirements. It's super easy to set up, but that is included with all of our packages, regardless of which one you purchase. Basically, it's going to accelerate our already fast pages, already fast servers, and just really optimize your WordPress site nice and neat for you. So other of the companies, they mentioned content delivery networks. We're integrated with Cloudflare. So if you want to use a CDN, all you have to do is go into cPanel and enable Cloudflare. Once again, we have some videos throughout our YouTube channel and on our blog on how to enable this. And we also have a feature called Railgun. If you were to go to cloudflare.com right now and you want to go buy Railgun, you have to have their business package, which starts at $200 a month. That's if you want to go to Cloudflare on your own. Well, we're integrated with them as an approved hosting partner. So not only do we offer the Cloudflare CDN, we also offer their Railgun. Their Railgun actually takes the resources from your site and serves them in the data center closest to that user. So here's an example. Let's say that you have a news website. Maybe cryptocurrency is huge right now. So let's say you have a cryptocurrency blog. Let's say you have traffic in the United States and traffic in Europe. Well, that visitor in Europe, our servers are based in the United States, in North America. So since our servers are over there, if a visitor from Europe visits your website, essentially that would mean they would have to pull the data from the US server. Well, Railgun actually fetches that data beforehand and puts it in a data center, Cloudflare's data center in Europe. So then that visitor that's visiting in Europe actually pulls the resources from that server closest to them. And since it makes the site load a lot faster. So you're already going to have our high-speed cloud with SSD RAID 10. You're already going to have LiteSpeed web server. You've got the LiteSpeed cache. You also have the Cloudflare CDN, but then you have that Railgun accelerator. So it's kind of the five-prong approach we use to making really fast web hosting, to having really fast websites. This is why on our main page we call ourselves Freaky Fast Web Hosting, because we have all these tools, all these layers to help load your site really, really fast. So that's kind of how we do it at NameHero. I know other companies do things differently. Some develop their own CDNs, which is okay. At NameHero, though, we kind of go along the philosophy that, what are we going to do here? Are we going to be a hosting company? Are we going to do CDNs? Are we going to do both? At NameHero, we like to focus on what we're really good at, and that's web hosting. Cloudflare is an amazing company. We have a fantastic partnership with them. I personally have met many of their higher-ups, including their CTO of their company. We let Cloudflare specialize in the CDN and content delivery stuff. That's their specialty. So instead of going and developing our own and spending millions of dollars developing it, implementing it, securing it, updating it daily, instead of doing that, we keep our primary focus of being a web hosting company, and we let Cloudflare do the stuff they're good at. So we like to incorporate all these technologies. Same with LiteSpeed. Instead of developing our own web server, we let LiteSpeed focus on what they're good at. Instead, we kind of pick the best technologies and pull them together in our packages. In that way that you can rest assured each night your website's using the latest and greatest technology. Doing this allows us not to fall behind the times. So, if we developed our own CDN, that means we have to maintain that CDN. And what works today is going to be completely outdated in 6 months. So we would have to actually allocate all these resources to that. So that's why we integrate Cloudflare, LiteSpeed, all these different companies and pull it together so we can all specialize in our own specialties and we bring it all together to the customer in one nice, affordable package. Okay, unlimited park domains. This is pretty standard. If you have domains that you're not using, you can park them with us. Unlimited subdomains, if you want to have subdomains for your site. So for example, some people use blog.theirdomain.com, billing.theirdomain.com, salesforce.theirdomain.com, whatever, for whatever application, you can have unlimited of those. You can have unlimited email accounts. We're not going to limit you on that. You're free to have as many as you need. We highlighted superhero features, which I highlighted some of it. LiteSpeed web server, SSD RAID 10, Maria database. Maria was developed by the same people that developed MySQL. But what happened was a couple years ago, more than a couple now, Oracle came in and bought MySQL. When they did, the original team of MySQL left and started Maria database. Basically, it's the same thing as MySQL. It will work the same as MySQL. Your same query calls, your same themes, templates, WordPress will work with Maria just like MySQL, but they work a lot faster, more secure. So that team really optimized those database queries and came out with this new technology. So it functions just like MySQL, but it's called Maria, different ownership in there. But the result is a really high-performing, secure database. Again, most web hosts are starting to move to that nowadays. Seems like MySQL is falling further and further behind since the acquisition with Oracle, which is nothing new. We see that in the web hosting industry. Once these technologies get acquired, it's not always for the best in terms of development. Daily backups, each site's automatically backed up. We talked about that. We have the 100,000 inode limit. As long as you have 100,000 or less inodes, your accounts are automatically backed up and you can restore those inside of cPanel. We have 99.9% uptime, and this is something we really pride ourselves in. And let me talk about our support, then we'll go to that page. At NameHero, we know that it sucks to go down when you're running an online business. I've been running websites for 20 years. My sole income for 20 years has been from websites. Each second my website's offline means I'm not making money. Each hour, I'm losing money. Each day, I'm really losing money. Each week would be detrimental, right? Because that's how I feed my family. At NameHero, we understand that. We understand you want to be online, and so we've designed our infrastructure in a way that stays online 99.99% of the time. We hate downtime at NameHero. And so I'm going to go into our uptime reports, because you say, okay, Ryan, that's nice. You can put that on your site. Anyone can put that on your site, but prove it. So in just a second here, I'm going to prove that. 24/7, 365 support. Also at NameHero, we realize that support's important. You might have a secular job where you're working 9 to 5. You might come home after that and say, okay, well, I got to do dinner with the wife and kids, or husband and kids, or maybe just significant other, maybe grandparents or caretaker, whatever, but then you don't have time to start working on your website till 7, 8, 9 o'clock at night. Maybe you have to work late in the evening. Well, you can reach out to us at midnight. We're going to hit you back. We're here all the friggin' time. So there's not a day, Christmas Day, holidays, we're always here. Live chat, phone, and tickets. I personally have always been a big ticket fan because I know that I can fill out my information and then I can go do something else while it's worked on. I don't have to sit there with live chat and go back and forth. To tell you the truth, I hate live chat because it's annoying to me, because I have to start the live chat. I have to continue going back and forth with the agent. I can't go do something else, and I end up wasting a lot of time. The phone's hard because when I call into phone support, I have to spill out all this stuff. And I've got somewhat of an accent. I live in Kansas City now, but I'm from the southern West Virginia. So I say things differently than some other people do that are answering the support calls. So that sometimes they're like, okay, well, could you spell that again? And you're like alpha, beta, you're trying to really pronounce it out so they can get it. And so phone support's always aggravated me too. We do offer those. But the tickets, in my opinion, are my favorites. For me personally, when I have trouble, I like to use a ticket system. So you do have access to that. Let's talk about proving the uptime to you all. So if I go down here to the bottom and click on reviews, you can click on it here or NameHero Reviews. I'm going to open it in a new browser. You can kind of see our promise, our mission statement, so to speak, is in here. And I'll just read this first sentence. For too many years, web hosting companies have turned into corporate giants, bullying customers, providing lackluster customer support, plagued with downtime and outdated technology. NameHero was founded to fill the much-needed void in the web hosting industry, offering high-speed cloud web hosting with unparalleled customer service and uptime. It's our goal to help power our customers' websites into the future and provide a pleasant experience so they can spend their time on what's most important, running their business. Let us be your website hero and rescue your website from corporate evildoers. So that's kind of how we live by here at NameHero. Simply put, we want your website to be safe, secure, fast, online all the time, and when you have problems, we're here to answer them. So that's our whole corporate culture and motto, really summed up in a couple nice sentences. So that said, we try to be very transparent with our reviews as well as our uptime. So you can see these. First, you're going to see reviews from actual customers at NameHero. You can see these are actually verified by a third party, and we use Shopper Approved. So after our customers sign up, Shopper Approve actually interacts with that customer. It's really cool how we've integrated with them. So it waits till after the customer's actually paid for a package, so they make sure that they're a real customer, and then they collect the feedback. They collect initial feedback after they sign up, and then they email them later on. And again, they don't spam you. They just email a nice little survey over that says, how do you like it? This way, we get accurate reviews from real customers to show potential new customers. So you can see it's January 17th right now, so you can see the reviews have been published by verified buyers and kind of what they say. We pride ourselves in getting 5 stars. If we go below, we go to 4 stars, 3 stars. We're reaching out saying, where did we go wrong? What can we do differently? So that's, you can read through these and come to your own conclusion. We've got several different pages. We have some social media reviews, some reviews from our Facebook page. Go on down here. Got some industry reviews that have been published on other websites. Going down here. Next is our support reviews. So this is really important when we talk about our 24/7, 365 support. It's one thing for us to say it on our site. It's another thing to prove it, right? I feel like one way we can prove this is by actually publishing the feedback from our support desk. At NameHero, we're all about surveys, right? So after someone finishes a support ticket, we simply send them a survey. Hey, what'd you think of the support? Because if it's bad, we need to know so we can improve. So they have to rate the tech on a scale from 1 to 10, and then they can provide some feedback. If they put a 0, that means they just didn't do the rating, they left the feedback. So you can see we publish this each and every month. So you can look at the date, the time, the comment, the rating on our support team. And you can see, what people say and all that. And so we do that just to be very transparent. We've been doing this for over a year now, so you can see, it's one thing to have a good month, right? But it's something else to have a good year, to have good years. So we were founded in January of 2015. We've been publishing these since November of 2016. So quite a long time now we've been publishing this data for people to see. Our uptime. So not only are we going to say we offer, I put on here, we're not going to BS you about it because I feel like a lot of companies do. We're actually going to publish these. It's one thing to claim 99.9% uptime for a month, but it's another thing to claim it for the year. If I click on this, I can pull a report from a third-party service, and this is from Pingdom, and you can see this particular server, 99.98%. Downtime was 52 minutes for the entire year, and you can see the exact report of the services that were monitored by Pingdom. Now, this server was only online from June, so it's not a complete 99.9 because it wasn't a full year. It's about 6 months. We got other servers that are a year, though. If I go over here to John, you see 99.97. This had a total downtime of 2 hours for the year. You can see exactly when these little downtimes occurred, for how long, the duration, and all that. And everything is published in a nice little organized format from a third party. Again, we're trying to be completely transparent here. We want you to know exactly what to expect, so you don't have to guess with anything. We publish this stuff for our customers, put it right in your face, so you can look, and you can make your own decision. Or you can see exactly how much time the servers went offline, when, and what happened, and so I just feel like it's so friggin' important to be transparent to our customers so they know exactly what to expect. And again, we use a third-party reporting agency. We use Pingdom. So you're not getting that just based off of our word. You're getting that actually from real solid data. We can actually back up that 99.9% uptime. So, that's NameHero. I'm now going to briefly pause and then resume with actually showing the sign up to one of these packages. And then I'm going to walk you through the WordPress installation. I'm going to install a theme and some plugins. And by the end of our video, you're going to have your package selected, your website online and set up. I'm going to show you how to get WordPress all configured. And I'm going to show you how to get a simple, nice, good looking design on. So if you're trying to start a website in 2018 or just try to build a new website, you're going to know exactly what to do. So just give me a few minutes and I'll resume this video. I'll get my screen prepared to sign up and then we'll go from there. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how to set up your WordPress hosting account in the cloud. I'm on our WordPress hosting page here at NameHero. To get to this page, you just go to NameHero.com and you can click right here under Freaky Fast Hosting, Get Started Now. And you can see this is our web hosting page here. Or if you want the WordPress branded page, you can scroll down to the bottom and click WordPress, but it's the same type of package. We just brand this page specifically for WordPress because sometimes we have different tutorials on here, depending. So I'll probably upload this video tutorial itself onto this page too. So it's however you want to go about it, but it's the web hosting tab right here. If all else fails, just go right here and you can get signed up. So in the beginning part of this video, we reviewed some competitors, and once again, you don't have to use NameHero. I just kind of showed the benefits of the other companies and what we're doing here at NameHero. I promise to live true to our motto and our mission statement. We're going to continue to create a high-speed, fast, reliable, scalable infrastructure with 10 for 10 customer service and support. We've also loaded it full of all the features you need to have a blazing fast and secure WordPress website. So if I scroll down here, you can see I can now choose which package that I would like for my account. I recommend that for most people to start off with the Plus Cloud. The reason being, it's got a little bit extra RAM than the Starter, and it just allows for just a little bit more growth. The Starter Cloud is great, but it just allows hosting for one website, and so it's ideally good for startups, that are really pinching on their budgets. But really, if it's going to be you're going right to production, you might as well just start with the Plus, and then of course you can upgrade to the Turbo or the Business at any time. But this is going to give you room to almost hit 1,000 visitors per day, really about 600, 700, 800, 900 a day, and you'll be just fine with the 2 gigabytes of RAM. So that's the one I'm going to sign up with right now and be doing my tutorial on. So I'm just going to click Choose Plus. Okay, now I'm brought to the screen to where I have to set up my domain. Now, if you recall, this comes with 1 year free domain registration or transfer. So a transfer is if you've already registered your domain, say at GoDaddy or Namecheap or another provider, you can transfer it to us. If you transfer it to us, it just makes it simpler to manage everything in one spot. If your domain's transferred in our interface, then our support team can just provide a lot more help. If your domain's over at GoDaddy and you have issues, sometimes our support team says, well, we can help you set up all the hosting and stuff, but we can't touch the domain because it's over at GoDaddy. And of course, we don't have access to your GoDaddy account. So I recommend that you either register or you transfer your domain to us at NameHero. To register it, you just simply type it in here, select your TLD, .com, .net, .org, Mobi, whatever, and search for it. And go from there. If you want to transfer it, you click I want to transfer my domain from another registrar, and you would just type in the domain, select the TLD, and click transfer. I've already registered my domain in my NameHero account, so I'm going to say I will use my existing domain and update my name servers. And this is the same if you have your domain at GoDaddy, if you have your name at Namecheap, and you say, well, no, I'm leaving it where it is. I don't want to transfer it in, even though it's free. I just want to leave it there. I'll update my name servers. I know how to do that. Then you can use this third option. I already have this in my NameHero account, so that's why I'm going to use it, and I will show you how to change the name servers from inside the NameHero panel. So my sample domain is going to be keydiets.com. We're going to pretend for this tutorial that I'm starting a WordPress blog for a diet website. It's the first of the year. A lot of New Year's resolutions are to lose weight. So I'm going to pretend like I'm starting a new website to teach people how to diet and exercise for the new year. So keydiets.com is the one I'm going to use. And again, this name's already registered in my account. So I'm going to click Use. And now I'm brought to the configuration page. So at NameHero, we reward customers on loyalty. Customers that want to say, hey, I'm going to sign up for at least 36 months. They get the best price. So the promotional price you saw on the first page, and the discounts don't apply to the checkout, you get the best available rate for 36 months, which is 3 years. You can go for 24 months, 2 years, or 1 year. You can see the price changes a little bit. So I recommend the 3 years, though, because you're going to get the best bang for your buck, so to speak, and then you don't have to worry about web hosting for another 3 years. And 3 years from now, you can worry about renewal and all that. Just kind of helps you get it out of the way. We see this at NameHero a lot, and this is why we don't even offer a monthly package with our web hosting. We do on our bigger packages, but these small packages where they're just $3, $4, or $5 a month, we just feel like it's a pain sometimes to bill that every single month. If your credit card gets lost, stolen, for some reason doesn't work, then you end up having to go through this process. And we spend way too much time worrying about that small charge, so we just collect at least a year up front. Now, remember, at NameHero, you can upgrade to any of our packages at a later date. And so this time is never lost. Let's say you'd come in, you use our Plus Cloud for 3 months, and in 3 months you need to upgrade to the Turbo Cloud, or you need to upgrade to the Business Cloud. Well, we're going to take the amount you've already paid and apply it to your upgrade. So we're not going to charge you more. You're not going to have to re-sign up or anything. The money that you have already spent applies to that upgrade. So you can rest assured that that is the true case at NameHero. And of course, we back everything by our 30-day money-back guarantee. No questions asked. So if in 30 days things aren't working out, you can just simply hit us up and cancel the account and get a refund. Next is Drop My Site Offsite Backups. Highly recommended. So each night we back up accounts automatically, and we retain 1 day's worth of data. If you want to retain more than 1 day, say 30 days worth of data, then you want to sign up using Drop My Site. Remember, I said at NameHero, we focus on what we do best, and that's offering web hosting. And we do provide 1 night's of backup. But if we would have to increase our prices at NameHero if we were to offer 2, 3, 4, 5 nights of retention, because of course it just is not feasible from a business standpoint. So we've partnered with Drop My Site, who are professionals at website backups that allow you to access your backups, restore your backups right inside of cPanel. So I recommend going with them. And this 5 gigabytes for $1.99 a month, that will get you started. And just like anything else at NameHero, as you get going, if you need to upgrade more, you can. So I suggest selecting at least 5 gigabytes of additional backup space. For $2 a month, really, it's worth it. And it's worth to have that peace of mind because these are completely off-site backups. So just in case that you need your backups, and they're stored on a separate location. So in my opinion, you can never have too much backups. In this way, it's automated. You don't have to worry about doing it. And it's safe and secure. So I recommend definitely choosing that. Next, you have the option for a dedicated IP address. This is for the highest level of email delivery. If you're going to be sending a lot of emails, then you want to select this. Now, since I'm doing a demonstration, I'm not going to select it because I'm not going to be sending a lot of emails, okay? But if I'm a local business and I'm maybe sending out an email once a month to my customers, or maybe sending a lot of emails to my other employees in the company, then I want to select this because that's going to make sure you have the highest level of deliverability with a dedicated IP address. So I'm going to go ahead and continue on. And now I can review it. You can see my discount has now been applied. And currently with our winter sale, I'm able to save $194.08. So it's pretty substantial savings we're running right now at NameHero. So it's a great time. The winter time is a great time to get your account with us. I can't promise when you watch this video that the same promotion is going to apply. I'm sure we'll have some type of promotion because each season we try to have promotions depending on the time of the year. But our winter time is some of our best specials. So you're definitely going to save really nicely. Okay, and click checkout. Okay, so this is the checkout page. And this is where you enter all your personal information, your billing address, and you go down here and enter your support pin and all this stuff. So let's just go through this really quick. And we'll go from there. So you're going to enter your name. So I would just enter my name, my email address, my phone number, and your company name if that's applicable. I'm going to enter my address, your city, then you're going to select your state if you're from the United States. Enter our postcode. United States, of course, if you're outside the United States, select your appropriate country. How did you find us? We really like this because it allows us to know where our marketing is the most effective. So we would really appreciate it if you would fill this in. If you're watching this on YouTube, just click other. But just let us know where you heard about us. It's really beneficial. Support PIN. This is important because this is a 4-digit PIN that we're going to use if you call in or hit us up on live chat, so we know it's you. And this, once you put this number in, only you will know this. So then we know the person that signed up for the account is the person we're talking to on the phone. It's how we authenticate you. So enter a 4-digit PIN. I'm just going to enter 1, 2, 3, 4 for this example, but use any 4-digit numerical PIN that you can remember that we will ask when you're reaching out to support. Account security, we're going to ask for a password. You want to make this nice and secure. So I'm going to enter one. And you want to try to make this as close to the green bar as possible. So let me add some more characters here. Okay, so 90% strong. That's pretty good. You want this to be green because, this is, if someone figures out your password, they have access to your hosting account. So make that as secure as possible. And then I'm going to complete my payment. In NameHero, we offered 3 different options: credit card, PayPal, or Coinbase, paying with Bitcoin. I know cryptocurrency is all the talk right now, and we've had this by request for a lot of, especially our international customers. They find that, credit cards have big fees, PayPal has big fees, but using Bitcoin on Coinbase does not. So that's why we've implemented with them. We feel like cryptocurrency is the wave of the future, so we definitely want to honor that here at NameHero. So you can choose either of these 3 options. If you're from the United States, the card option is probably the most used and the easiest. Enter your card number, expiration date, and the CVV security code, and that will get you going. You can also note here, it's going to show you the total, how much is due today. It shows how much you saved today. And we also have our terms of service. So if you have not already, it's always good to go just to browse through these, just so you know kind of what we expect from our customers. It's really important to note that we have a zero tolerant adult policy. We do not allow any type of content that could be considered adult in nature. So this includes drugs and alcohol, illegal drugs and alcohol, stuff that will not be considered appropriate for all ages. That's something we pride ourselves on here at NameHero. So if your website is of adult in nature, please choose a different web host. That's not the type of business that we want to bring on here. So it's important to read through those. And then once you have, you go ahead and check this that you've read and agree to them. And then you'll complete the order. So I am going to pause this video while I do my completion. I'm going to fill out my card and stuff. And then I will continue on and we'll go with the setup of WordPress and we'll show you how to set up your website. Okay, once I submit my payment, you're going to see thank you for your order. And remember earlier in this video, I was talking about shopper approved, how we use a third party to generate our reviews on our site. So immediately they pop in here after they verify the order is from an actual customer and they ask about your order experience. So let us know, what do you think so far? We do appreciate all 5 stars, but of course if you're having an issue, don't hesitate to let us know. And this lets others know what's going on and how you feel our services are here at NameHero. You can see your email is safe. It's only used for order confirmation and customer care. We don't use this to send you specials or offers or any spam, anything like that. And this is actually shopper approved, and they're not going to send you anything besides asking you how your experience with us is. Since I'm doing this as a demonstration, I'm not going to fill this out, but I'm going to click on my X here. Okay, so here is my order number, and I'm ready to head to the client area now. My account is online. So now if you remember, I said during the sign up that I was going to update my name servers, okay? So I'm going to show you how to do that. I said I already had my domain, I'm going to update my name servers. If you registered a new domain, this has already been done for you. So the first thing I want to do is navigate to my hosting package. So I'm going to do that by clicking on Cloud Web Hosting. I've got 5 packages in here, and that's because this is a demonstration account. The one I just signed up for was keydiets.com, the Plus Cloud, so I'm going to click on it. And now I'm brought to my information page on this package, and I've got my name servers. So I need to update my domain to use these so I can sync it up to the web hosting. So I'm going to copy this, go to domains, my domains, and I'm going to use a separate window. And then I'm going to go to keydiets.com, click on it. Once here, I'm going to click on name servers. And here I want to enter my custom name servers. ns25.namehero.net, ns26.namehero.net. Now this depends on what server that you've signed up for that your account goes on, so this is not the same for everyone. So I'm going to go over here and ns26. So I'm just going to paste this, go down here and click change name servers. So if your name's registered at GoDaddy or Namecheap and you didn't want to transfer it over to us, then you need to actually log in there, GoDaddy, Namecheap, or where have you, and update those name servers to point there. Now, when you do this, it might take a couple hours for your website to be live on our hosting, especially if you've been recently visiting your website. It takes it a little bit longer. So this process is called DNS propagation, and it can take up to 24 hours for it to fully propagate and to fully work. So I always encourage people when they do this step, if it's a new domain, a lot of times it's live instantly. But if it's an existing domain, you have to wait for that propagation time. So this is a good time to go grab a cup of coffee, take a break, kind of get your ducks in a row before you start building your website. But there is some stuff we can do, which I'm going to go ahead and do in this video. So feel free, if you've got to let it propagate, just pause the video and then come back once it has propagated. And you can do this by just checking it in another window. So I'm going to close this out and I'm going to close these terms of service. The first thing that I want to do is I want to go into my cPanel and set up my email address. I want to set up an email that I'm going to use for this site. So on this page here, it tells me all the information about my website. Here's the server I'm on, here's the name servers, here's my disk usage and bandwidth usage, here's any add-ons I may have, and here's some quick shortcuts. So I just want to go to the main cPanel. So I'm going to click Login to cPanel. And I'm brought to my cPanel. Now this is the control panel for your website, and this allows you to do everything: install WordPress, manipulate files, upload files, delete files, set up email addresses, and everything. So everything's inside of cPanel. So what I'm going to do is scroll down here to email accounts, and I'm going to create one called admin because this is the one I'm going to be using for my site. So I'm going to generate a secure password here. And you want to put this in a safe place. So I've got a notepad window opened up, and I'm just going to log this just so I have all this. I like to create a notepad document and just store it on my computer with all my logins for the website. Paste. Next, I got to define how much quota I want to allocate to this email box. You know, it's not really good to set this to unlimited because remember we talked about the inode usage. If you set this to unlimited, each email can use up an inode or a file, and it can really fill up your hosting account fast. So the default's 1 gigabyte or 1024 megabytes. So leave it at the default if you're unsure. Click Create Account, and now it's been created. So now I'm going to click back to NameHero, and if I go down to email, I can go down here and I can see here's my email account. I can set up mail client, and if I want to set up my email client on my phone or on my computer, I can click one of these buttons and download a file that will do that automatically. So for example, if I'm using my iPhone, I can go log in on my iPhone to cPanel and click IMAP over SSL TSL, and TSL, and it will automatically set it up on my phone for me. Same if I'm using a Mac right now, I could click IMAP over SSL TSL, and it's going to set up my mail client for me. If you're using Windows, same thing. Select which version you're using. If you want to manually set it up, you have these nice settings right here. I recommend doing the secure settings. You can see it's recommended here, not recommended with non-secure. And of course, you can email the instructions to someone. So maybe you set this email account up for an employee. You can email them the instructions. If you don't want to use an O client, you can go over here and you can click More, click Access Webmail, and you've got our handy dandy webmails to where you can access the email in your browser. So you can see it begins to walk you through a tour, change your email configuration options anytime, got it, and you can choose the application you want to use. I personally like Horde the best. So I'm going to click that, and you can see here's my email, my inbox, new messages right here. I've got an email from the system telling me about my new email setup. I can see everything inside of here. So my email is good to go. Now I'm going to leave this window open because I'm going to refer back to my email here as I provision and set up the website. So I'm going to go back to cPanel, and the next thing I want to do is I want to install WordPress because, right, that's the purpose of this tutorial is setting up WordPress in the cloud. Now, if you have a current website and you want it migrated to us, this would be the time to where you would go to our client area, click on Support, click on Tickets, go down here, click on Open a Ticket, click on Technical Support, and go down here and fill out the subject, Migration, and Technical Support Related Service. If you have more than one, click it. And let us know that you want us to migrate your old website or from your old web host. And we need your cPanel information. At NameHero, we have free migrations for up to 10 cPanel accounts. Since you only have one, it's one. And you would just type in that information here. So if you're moving from Hostgator or Bluehost, you would say, hey, I'm a current Hostgator customer. I'm moving to NameHero. Here's my cPanel URL, my cPanel username, my cPanel password. And we will migrate this for you for free within 24 hours. Most of the time, much sooner. Most of the time, within a couple hours. And we always say allow us 24 hours depending on the size of your website. But anyways, this is a new website, so we're going to create it from scratch. So I'm going to go back to cPanel, and I want to install WordPress. So I'm going to scroll down here to the bottom to our apps installer. And you can see our apps installer has many one-click installs, meaning that you can install any of these applications with a couple of clicks. You don't have to download the files or set up databases or anything complicated. You just do everything from here. So I'm going to click on WordPress because that's what I want to install here. And you can see I'm brought to a page with all the information about WordPress. Now, if you're watching this video, you're probably familiar with WordPress somewhat, but if you're not, feel free to read through this. I mean, this has got some great information about WordPress itself. I'm going to jump right into the install. So I'm going to click the Install Now button. Okay, so now there's a couple things that we need to define. So each account at NameHero comes with free and automatic SSL. So therefore, we can select HTTPS www. So I'm going to select that. Now, this says this when accounts are new, a trusted SSL certificate was not found. Well, this may or may not be true. The apps installer, for some reason, sometimes will say this regardless. So if you want to check, if you're going to use SSL, you want to check and make sure that's valid. So we are going to go back to our account here, go back here, go back to here, go back to here. And notice I'm doing this in a separate window. I'm going to go back to my key diets, go back to my cPanel main page. and I want to type in SSL, and I'm going to go to SSL TSL status because I want to see if I do have a certificate. Okay, and you can see I do not yet. Why? Because the account does not resolve yet. DNS propagation is still taking place. The auto installer cannot install the SSL certificate until your domain has propagated, meaning that it's viewable on the internet. Again, I said this process could take up to 24 hours. So what you can do to check it again is you can highlight all these and click Run Auto SSL. And excuse me. And this takes just a few, sometimes up to 5 minutes to run, because it's actually going to go check the site again and see if it's resolving and see if it can pull an SSL certificate. So while we let this run, we can go back into here and we can set this to HTTP www without a secure certificate if we don't want to wait over here, because we know this might take a few minutes and it might wait till we have to propagate it. We can always add the SSL later, and I will show you how to do that in this video tutorial. Okay, so our domain is keydiets.com. If you have more domains in your cPanel, it's going to show here. If you have subdomains, they're going to show here. Next, it's going to ask you in directory. Now, by default, it puts it in a directory called WP. This means when they go to keydiets.com/WP, WordPress will be there. I want it when someone goes to keydiets.com that WordPress loads, so they don't have to do a subdirectory. So I'm going to erase that. Now, this is an important step. If you want WordPress to load on your main website, delete the WP from that and leave that field empty. Next is your site settings. So this is the name of your site. I'm going to go ahead and just set mine to Key Diets. And your site description, learn to eat healthier in 2018. That's going to be my tagline. If I want to do multi-site, I can enable it here. I am not. If you do not know what you're doing there, do not put anything. Next, I need to choose an admin username and an admin password. Now, I like to make these strong. Admin and pass, do not do that, because that's just asking for someone to get into your account. You want to make this hard to guess. So I'm going to call it keydiet18. So I'm using a combination of letters and numbers. So that's not extremely hard to guess. Now I've got my notepad file here where I'm going to store my logins in my other window. And I'm going to use the password generator by clicking on the key to generate a secure password. This is a good password. When you're doing the admin area in WordPress, you want this to say strong. If it does not say strong, I do not recommend continuing on. You want to use the strongest password as possible. There are people out there that mean harm out there that want to get inside of your WP admin. Your first line of defense is right here, using a strong password. There are programs out there for the evildoers that do what's called a dictionary attack, to where they can use a combination of letters and numbers. So if you use all these special characters and stuff, you'll deter a lot of those attacks. Next, your admin email. Remember, we created admin@keydiets.com. We still have it logged in this screen. It actually logged us out there, but we still have it set up. So that's the email address we're going to use. We're going to scroll down here and choose our language. I speak English. That's what I'm going to select. If you speak a different language, WordPress is available in all these languages, so you could select it. I'm going to go down here. You can add a plugin to limit your login attempts. I'm going to install a security plugin called Wordfence, so I'm going to leave this option blank. There's some advanced options that you can hover over here, such as your database name, your table prefix, disable auto update notifications, auto upgrade plugins, auto upgrade themes, backup location, automated backups, backup rotation. Remember, we ordered the Drop My Site backup, so it's backed up there. Remember, at NameHero, we back up your files once a night, so you don't have to worry about backups. That's going to just chew your space. Now, I do recommend auto updating your plugins, auto updating your themes, and auto updating WordPress if you don't think that you're going to stay on top of this every day. If you're like my father and you have a small business and you're creating your website and you don't know if you'll be back in tomorrow or not, maybe you won't be in for a month, then you need to set these to auto upgrade, because that's going to make sure that, again, that's your first line of defense to keeping your site safe and secure. You want to keep it updated. You want to run the latest versions always. Disable update notification emails. No, you want to know when to update, so don't do that. Table prefix, leave that default unless you specifically know what you're doing. Database name, leave that default as well unless you know what you're doing. Okay, so I'm going to go down here. Now at NameHero, if you read our sign up page, we come pre-stocked with all these templates and themes, 100% free. So you can feel free to browse through these and find one that you like and make your site look a little bit special. Now, by default, it's going to install the default WordPress theme, okay? So you're going to have that. But if you want to make it a little bit more customized, you have all these preloaded themes to choose from. Like here's a demo for a taxi website. And you can click demo, and it's going to show you what they look like. So, if you're creating a website for a taxi company, this is all set up for you. And you can choose this design, and this can be your website. For this specific tutorial, I'm going to show you how to set up a website using a premium theme called Genesis, or the Genesis framework, and we're going to use one of the Genesis themes. So I'm going to show you a theme that's costs additional money, and you may or may not want to do that, but we have so many requests for it at NameHero, I want to walk you through that process. So really, it's up to you. Do you want the default WordPress theme? Probably not. If you're setting up just a basic blog, then probably. But if not, you can feel free to use this. Use the search feature. The search feature is not that good in this search engine for some reason. So it's very generic. But you can use that to kind of look through that, and then you can scroll through these. But I'm just going to keep it default since I am going to use a premium theme. Now, you can email these installation details. You can email these to yourself, or if you have a web designer that's going to do your theme for you, you could email it to them. If you have a partner or partners, you can email them. The details of your installation, but only send this to trusted people. I'm not going to email anyone since I'm just doing this myself. So now I'm going to click install, and that's going to take just a few seconds. Let's pop back over here and look at the SSL. Oh, what do you know? Our domain's now propagated because now I have an SSL certificate. So now I can use SSL on my website. I'll show you how to set that up in this tutorial. So I'll go back to the app installer. I always tongue twist that. And so now WordPress has been installed at keydiets.com, and I've got an administrative URL. So let's click the Key Diets and look at it. How about that? I've got the default WordPress theme, and WordPress is now installed. So now I have WordPress set up on the cloud. Yes, I'm making some progress. Here in 2018, my WordPress website's now on the cloud. It's fast. Now, how can I make it even better? So that's what we're going to do now, is we're actually going to go into the WordPress admin URL, and I'm going to show you how to make your site really fast and how to customize it. So I'm going to click on the admin URL. And since I'm coming directly from the app installer, it automatically logs me in. Now remember, in the previous step, we defined an admin username and an admin password. So that's what we're going to use to log in. And if you look up in your browser window, www.keydiets.com/wp-admin. So that's where we're going to go to log into our admin area each time. And we'll use our username and password that we defined. To see an example of this, I'll just click log out, and you can see keydiets.com. Here we go. Now, if I want to go to the admin URL, the back end to where I'm going to edit, wp-admin, enter, and now I enter my username and password that I defined when we set it up to get in here. So I've got my notepad. Remember, I saved everything in my notepad document. I'm going to paste it and log in. So now I'm logged in. So there's a couple things I like to do first. One, I like to go to plugins, click add new, and I want to install the LiteSpeed cache. Remember, that was one of our big features at NameHero. If I go back over to here, go back to web hosting, you can remember we talked about the LiteSpeed cache and how it was so good for your website to make it load faster. So we actually need to add that. Now at NameHero, our support team will install this for you. You just have to let them know with a ticket. But if you don't have to worry about a ticket and stuff, I'm going to show you. It's real easy. Just type in LiteSpeed, enter, and you can see LiteSpeed cache comes up. Install now. It's going to fetch it, and it's going to begin the installation process for you. Again, this just makes your website load a lot faster. And we're going to activate it. Okay, so now LiteSpeed cache is activated. Okay, so now we want to do another plugin. We want to add the Wordfence security plugin because while at NameHero we're building our platform based on security, there's little things you can do for your specific website to help keep it secure. So just like LiteSpeed cache, it's another level to make it faster. Wordfence is another plugin to keep it more secure. So we're going to click add new. We're going to type in Wordfence. And again, this is a 100% free plugin, same with LiteSpeed cache. They do have a premium version, but you don't need it. You just need the basic plugin. Click install now. Just like the LiteSpeed cache, it's going to fetch the files and begin installing it. Just takes just a couple of seconds here. I don't believe it'll take 5 minutes or so or anything crazy like that. Installed. Now we're going to activate it. It's going to bring us to another page here to where we can configure Wordfence security, and don't worry, it's nothing complicated, as you'll see. Okay, they've got a nice tour. If this is your first time, I recommend starting the tour and just looking at it. But you can see Wordfence is installed, and we can go to dashboard here, and I'm going to end the tour. It will actually start to learn your website as time progresses. So really, there's not much you have to do now. You've installed it, and that's good. Let it learn. It's going to help keep your website safe and secure. Now, there's a third plugin that I want to install, and that's for the SSL, the secure certificate, right? Now that we have a secure certificate that's generated, remember we did it over here and we see the green lock, we want to make sure that all our pages are secure. So I'm going to go over here to plugins and click add new, and I'm going to type in really simple SSL. Again, it's a free plugin. It's going to help you make all your pages secure. Really simple SSL, install now. And same as the other two, it's going to fetch the files, grab them, install them, and then we activate it. Okay, and now it's going to ask us if we're ready. Go ahead, activate SSL. We do want it to activate it. Okay, and now if we go to key diets, we can refresh it. And we have the HTTPS. Now look, it's not completely secure. There's an info button here because the theme we're using doesn't have all secure elements. Well, we're going to change this anyway, so we don't have to worry about that. So we're going to go back over here to plugins, and we're going to go to settings. We are going to go to reading, and it's going to ask us to relog in. That's because we just set up the SSL, so now our admin area is secure. And you can see up here, secure HTTPS. So it logged us out. So now we have to log back in, so it is nice and secure. So click log in, and we're good. So I'm sorry, we need to go to settings in general. And these are where you can edit some settings of your site. Remember we said our title was key diets and we had our tagline. If you ever want to edit this, and I always like to check it before I go live, you can do it right here, settings general. Now you can see our URLs have been changed to HTTPS automatically because we use that plugin. And remember our email address we set up on the install is here. So we can always go back and change any of that stuff when we need to. There's some other options here, such as anyone can register. You don't want to do that because you'll probably get a lot of spam. If they do register, what would be their role? Again, you probably don't want to allow people to register for your site unless you're using a shopping cart, which would be a completely different tutorial altogether. Time zone, you can set this. This is sometimes important. I'm in Central Time, so let's set that here. And the date format in the United States, we use this. Time format, we use that. Week starts on Monday, so save changes. Feel free to customize those to your liking. Okay, now you're going to notice there at the top here, to make your site secure as possible, take a moment to optimize Wordfence Web Application Firewall. Let's go ahead and configure that. Okay, all we need to do is define what we're using for PHP, and you can see it detects LiteSpeed and LiteSpeed API. So I'm going to click continue, since that's what we're using, and we're going to download a backup of the htaccess, click continue, and now it has changed. Okay, so now it says it may take a few minutes to take effect. That's fine. We don't have to worry about it anymore. We can go back to our dashboard. We are secure. We are rocking and rolling. We're making great progress here with our website. Now, if I refresh it, I've got my admin bar since I am logged in here. Okay, so now our website is online, and technically we have a website now. You can go down here and click Hello World, and you can see this is the first post, and this is made by default by WordPress. If I want to edit this, I can go back to my dashboard, click on Post, All Post, and you can see here's the Hello World post. It's all up here. And so now I can trash it, delete it, or I can edit it to change it to say something else. The same goes for pages. If you click Pages and All Pages, you can see there's a sample page that's already been made. Click View and you can look at it. You can click up here to edit the page. So you can go ahead and edit this page to make it a page of your site, or you can delete it. All pages, and you can kind of control this. If you want to add new pages, you can begin to do so here. Some of you may want to add About Us. Some of you may want to add pricing, services. Any type of page you want to add, you add it here. Posts are more used for your blog, or if you have news you're adding. Remember, our sample site's going to be a example diet site, an example diet blog. So we're going to be using a lot of posts because that's the purpose of our page is a blog. So I'll walk you through on how we create those once we get the premium theme installed. So that's what we're going to look at next. Okay, so now I want to talk about premium themes for your website. Now, remember, when we went to install WordPress, we had a bunch of pre-installed premium themes that come with your account here at NameHero. And you have the option to choose those as you sign up. And of course, if you choose one of those, that's fine. But in this lesson, I want to teach you how to actually find a premium theme on the internet that you pay for and how to import it. Because I feel like depending on who's watching the video, you may want to do this or you may not. Anyways, let's talk about one change that needs to be made. So once you set up your account at NameHero, you have all the default PHP settings. Before you go uploading and importing themes, you need to increase those just a little bit larger because they're customized just for the default WordPress theme. So you want to go back to cPanel where you control all aspects of your website. And at the top, just type in PHP and go down here to select PHP version. So you're going to click that, and you're going to see by default we use 5.6. This is an older but more stable version of PHP. Unless you absolutely need 5.6, I recommend changing it to at least PHP 7. 7's pretty much the standard now and will soon be the default version across NameHero. But while we're waiting on all the developers to get their software up to speed, we're going to keep it at 5.6. So all you do is you just select 7.0 and click Set as Current, and then you can see the current PHP version is 7.0. Now you're welcome to go to 7.1 or 7.2, but right now there's still some softwares that are not compatible with 7.1 and 7.2, so I feel like 7.0 is a good starting point. You'll notice a considerable speed increase over 5.6 from 7.0. So once that's done, you want to go over here and click on Switch to PHP Options. And you want to increase some limits. So the first thing is your max execution time. I like to increase this to 100. So I just select it, type in 100, click apply. Next is the memory limit. You just click in here, and I like to set that to about 256 megabytes. That's going to be higher than you really need, but that makes sure that you have plenty. Then click apply. Next is your post max size. Select this and go to 32. Click apply. It's going to make sure that anything you submit in the browser, 32 megabytes will handle. And then the upload max file size. We also want to set that to at least 32. So we'll click 32 and apply. After we do all that, we're going to click on save. Now, I set mine prior to this video, so that's why they are green. Yours will be green after you save, and then you know you're ready to begin importing a custom theme. So next we're going to go back to WordPress, to the post where we were, and you want to click on Appearance and click on Themes. Now you're going to see these are the standard WordPress themes that come with WordPress, and you can click Add New at the top, and you get more of those premium themes that are already packaged with WordPress for free. So you can see there's all kinds of free themes inside of here. So if that interests you, by all means, you can choose one of these. You just hover over it and click install, and it will set it up on your website, and it's all automatic. You can use their search feature right here. It's not the best in the world, so you have to be very generic. Just like when we went to install WordPress for the first time, we had the premium themes and the search engine wasn't that good. Kind of the same thing here. You can click on popular and see some of the most common ones. Obviously, these three, since they're packaged in WordPress, are most popular, but you can get on down here and you can see some more premium themes, you know, kind of based on what you're trying to do. And again, these are all appropriate to use for your site. You can click on latest to see the newest, and you can click on favorites to see what's been marked as favorites. Now this is for your personal account, so I haven't marked any, so I don't have any in there. But I'm going to find a popular premium theme on the internet and upload it. So this starts by just going to Google and typing in WordPress themes premium or premium WordPress themes, any way you want to put it. And you're going to see you've got some ads here, and you can go on down here and you'll see tons and tons and tons of results. One of my favorite places to get these is ThemeForest. So you can see it's ranked number 2 behind WordPress. I like ThemeForest just because you can put any profession inside of here and you can find a theme for it. So let's say if you're creating a website for a plumber, or maybe you are a plumber WordPress. And look, you have tons of professional pre-made designs ready to purchase and import. What you like to look for is all 5 stars or 4.5 or even 3.5. You like to see a lot of ratings and a lot of sales, because that's how you know that the theme developer is legitimate. Sometimes our theme developers are like beginners. They're not that good. Their code isn't the best. You want to steer away from those. You want to find themes that do have a lot of ratings and have a lot of sales on them. So that's how you know you're getting a good theme. You can, of course, hover over these and click on Live Preview, and you can preview any of these websites. But literally, any type of industry that you're in, you can find a theme for it on ThemeForest here. So it's kind of my go-to to look for. Another site that I want to talk about is Studio Press. They have some really good templates that are made. And I'm going to actually demonstrate using one of their themes because remember, we created our example site here as a diet blog. So I've got a nice premium blog template in there that I'm going to show you how to import. It's the same process whether you purchase a ThemeForest, StudioPress, Divi. It's the same process to uploading the theme. So once you can do it with one, you can do it with all. But you can go to StudioPress and click Shop for Themes, and you can see all the ones that they have. This is the basic Genesis framework. So off this, everything runs. So we're going to get started with installing the Genesis framework, and you can click on it here and kind of see what this will give you. It's $44.95. I'm an existing customer. New customers is $59.95. So once you become a customer, you can get additional themes for pretty cheap. But you can see here's what the Genesis framework looks. I mean, it makes your site look really good. I'm a big fan of the Genesis framework for blogs, so definitely recommend it if you are going to create a blog. So what I'm going to do is go over here to my login for StudioPress, and you can see I've got a couple themes here with them. So the Genesis framework is what I want to install and operate my blog on. So I'm going to click this download button here, and it's going to download the files for me. You can see I've got a zip file, and I've got the Genesis folder here. What I want is this zip file. If you're on a Mac like me and it automatically unzips it, don't worry about this right now. We just want this zip folder. So we go back to our WordPress and click on Upload Theme at the top here. And we want to find that zip file. So it's right here. And we're going to click on Open and click Install Now. So this is going to install the Genesis framework on our site. Genesis theme activated or theme installed successfully. Click Activate. And now it is activated. So now if we go to Key Diets, we can click Visit Site. You're going to see it looks a lot different. It's got the Genesis framework on it. And so just kind of a more professional looking design. Now it says on here, please activate a theme, a child theme. So you can click here and it will teach you how to do that so you're not editing the actual Genesis framework. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into my StudioPress and I've purchased a child theme that runs on top of the framework called Generate Pro. So this is a theme that I want to install. So I'm going to click download and download that. And once again, I've got a folder and a zip. I want the zip. So go back to Manage Themes. I'm going to click Add New, Upload Theme, choose File, and the Generate Pro is what I want. Click Install Now. So this is going to set up my child theme for me. So installed successfully, click Activate. And now I've got a Genesis child theme on my website. So I go back to Key Diets. It's not only running Genesis framework, it's running the child theme. So you can see it looks a little bit more professional now. We've got a nice little footer here at the bottom. We've got our side widgets here, and we've got our blog post. If I go back to the home page, it looks like this. Now they've got documentation. Under this here, you click the setup instructions. And they've got a really good in-depth tutorial if you want to add stuff like this opt-in box here, if you want to, really customize the colors and all that. So you can kind of see everything that they have you do if you want to, make it look just like this. So they first have to do the child theme, which is kind of what we went through, adding that, installing it with FTP if you want to do that, how to activate the theme and all that stuff. Then they've got the pre-installation setup, which is a lot of stuff we've already covered. Then it's got these plugins that it recommends. It recommends simple social icons in the Genesis e-news widget. So I'll show you how to install these. Whenever a theme has recommended plugins, you can copy the name, and we can go over here. We can go to Plugins. Click Add New, and we can add these. Since the theme wants them, we can add them inside of our install. So simple social icons, click Install Now. It just takes a second to install, and we can activate that. And we can go back over here, and Genesis eNews Extended widget, we can copy that as well. Plugins, we can click Add New, and we can add this one in there to match that. Do Enter, Genesis eNews Extended, Install Now. There we go, and click Activate. So now you can see you've got a new little bar here called Genesis, and you've got your theme settings, just very basic stuff. So it just kind of gives a release for it. It checks for updates. You can set your color here. So the default, you can look at the defaults is right here. So if you want to change this to a different color, say maybe Generate Pro Blue, we can do that. You don't have to write out the custom feeds or the layout if you don't want the sidebar. If you want the sidebar on the left or no sidebar, you can do that. You can enable breadcrumbs, comments, and track trackbacks. Comments allow people to actually comment on the post, so you can enable that, or if you don't want it, don't have to. Trackbacks, this allows people to link to you, and it shows on the page who else links to it. I don't like to enable that, but it's up to you if you want to do that. This here shows do you want the content or excerpts on the archives. The content's what I like. Featured image, if you want to include the feature image on it. The pagination, I like to do numeric. The default category, then some header scripts and footer scripts. So, you can really get into customizing this theme if you want, but you can see I just wanted to change the color, so now I've got a blue. So the first thing that I want to customize on this, you can see I've got the nice blue links now, is I don't want it to say by key diet 18. That looks bad. So I want to go over here to settings, to reading, and settings in general, go down here, it's in settings, and it's actually the user we need to change. So users, your profile, and we're going to change the display name. So instead of key diets 18, I want to show my name. So I'm just going to enter Ryan in my first name here, and then you can see it appears here. So we'll change it to Ryan. So that way when I'm writing a blog post, it doesn't have my username, because I feel like that doesn't look professional. So I still have my sample post here, but now it says by Ryan, so that looks a lot better. So now if I click Hello World, I can see my post, a sample comment, people can reply to it, and so looking a lot better here. Now, if we go back over here to their installation instructions, they have some demo content. Some themes call this a dummy content, where you can actually download a zip file of it, or you can actually pull in this XML, and then you have tutorials on how to do that. So when they actually made the design, they have some content that's available, and it shows demo posts and comments and categories, just kind of how they wanted to set it up. So you can, of course, do this if you want. I just click to download this. You go back into your WordPress, enter Tools, you go to Import, go down here to WordPress, click Install Now. Just takes a second. It's like installing our plugin. Run Importer, and we're going to choose that XML file. So we're going to find it, Generate Pro, XML, upload and import. And it's going to ask, who do you want to import the author stuff to? I'm just going to import it to me. There's another author. Go ahead and import to me. Download and import file attachments if there. And click submit. Now, a lot of times my problem with importing demo content is sometimes the demo content was generated years ago, and sometimes not everything exists already, or it still exists, such as the images. So if we go back to our page here, you can see there's not a whole lot that's really been added, just some sample posts. So it just, gives you more content. Like this image here, it's not going to come up because the images didn't come with it. But it just kind of shows you how they had the site set up. So again, you don't have to download demo content, but it just kind of makes it, gives you an idea of what the site's going to look like before you have content. You can go into post, all posts, and you can start to edit this stuff. If you want to remove this, you can. You just select the post here and go to bulk actions and move to trash, or you just click trash here. So it's just good to kind of help you get the site set up. Also, if we go to pages, we can click on all pages, and you can see some sample pages that have been set up. So these are good, like, if you want to view the different templates that come with the theme, like this is a landing page with no sidebars or anything. There's a demo sample page. So this is an example sub page. And you can edit these as well just by clicking edit. And you can make this page about your company or whatnot. So we can change this to maybe about us. Whoops, let me show you that. So we can say maybe about us and change the permalink to about us. Okay, update. And now we have an example about us page here. So, it's just it's content to help you get the site how you want it to look and feel. Now, if we go back to customize at the top here, it'll actually show us all the stuff we can do. We did the site identity in the beginning. If you want to change the name of the site or the tagline, you can. If you want to add an image, you can here as well. The colors, it's got like the background color is white. So if you wanted to change that, you can change this stuff and it changes it in real time. So if you kind of want to give the page a different look and feel, you can. Header image, I did not set one. I just have key diets up here, but if I wanted to maybe have someone on Fiverr design me an image, I would tell them I needed 360 by 140 and have them do it. Background image, same thing. If you don't want a color, you can use a background image. Menus is big because you can notice there's not a header, there's not a navigation on here. You can see there's some menus here that have already been brought into this WordPress. And so I can add these if I want. Some of these pages I actually removed, but I can, if I want to, I can assign headers. And it says, where do you want it? Like after header. And it's going to put a header in here. So that's how people navigate your site. And like I said, I've got some bad pages here, so I want to remove these here. Yours probably won't have these. I had some demo content that I imported prior to doing this, and it just kind of stuck around here. So I'm going to remove those pages just so I can kind of show you what it looks like as a whole. So I'm just going to remove these invalid pages here. Right here, remove, and there's a bunch of them, so I'll just leave them, but publish. Now if I go back to my key diets page, you can see I've got a nice pretty menu. So see, people can navigate the site now. So now I've created my blog with some example pages on here. So it makes it nice and neat. So now you might want to say, well, I want to have a contact form on my website. So of course, you want a contact page a lot of times. So to do that, we're going to install a contact form plugin. So if you had installed plugins, you can see what's installed. I want to install a contact form. So I'm going to click Add New, search for Contact, and Contact Form 7. It's most popular. It's what I recommend. So I'm going to click Install now. Just give it a second to run. Installed. Click Activate. And now we can go to Settings, and we can create our contact form. By default, it's going to create you one, contact form 1, and you can use this and just edit it. So this has your name, your email, subject, your message, and send. Okay, that looks pretty good. Mail, this is going to send it to admin@keydiets.com. It's going to say it's from whoever's name, and it's just going to have the default admin email address. Subject, reply to, and kind of the body of the message. So we're just going to click Save. Now, here's the code for it. So we're going to copy this code and go to our pages, all pages. And you can either modify one of these pages or just create a new one. I'm going to create a new one. Add new and call it Contact Me. So I add some text, and then I'm going to go into my text view, and right here I'm going to paste that code. Paste. Publish, and now I've got a handy dandy contact form. So now I've got a nice contact form on my site. You can see it didn't take long. So I also want to add that to the menus. So I'll go to Appearance, Menus, and see here we've got these that are no more. So let's just clean these up right quick. Delete this, remove this, and remove this. And we're on the corporate. We're going to go to the main menu. Select. Leave, and I just want to remove these other items here so I can show you what a real menu looks like, so you can look at if you're building yours. And this is a thing when you download demo content, is you get a lot of extra stuff. You get a lot of extra menus and widgets and stuff like that. So depending on your level of expertise, you may not want to do the demo content. It's all up to you, and if you feel more comfortable importing and modifying, or if you just kind of want to start from scratch. It's different strokes for different folks, and sometimes I will import demo content and modify, and other times I'll create it from scratch. So I'm gonna give it a second, and I'll just clear these out right quick, and I'll resume this video. Okay, so rather than doing all that, deleting it, I just deleted the whole menu, and I'm going to show you how to make a new one. You can click right here, Create a New Menu. And this is what we're going to have go across the top of the site. So if we look at the site right now, it's got all these demo things. So I deleted it, and we're going to put a new one on here. So on your site, a lot of times you like to have a home page link. So you can click, well, actually, we're going to type in the name of the new menu. So Main Header Menu. Create menu, and you can call it anything you want. I just like to call it something so I'll know what it goes on. So then now we're going to do menu structure, and you can see on the left is all your pages that you have, and then you can add those to the menu. Well, I want to do one for our home page, just the main Key Diets page here. So just keydiets.com. So I'll go down here and go to custom links. The URL I'm just going to paste in, which is the main page of the site, and we're going to call it home. So add to menu. And now we have a home link. So remember in the pages, we had a contact me and about us. So I want to add those to the menu. And I can put them in any order that I want, like this. And you just drag them to wherever you want. And we're just going to click on Save menu. And then we want to go over here to Manage Locations. The after header menu, that means the menu right below here, is going to be our main navigation. So main header menu, click Save Changes. Now we go back here and refresh it, and you can see we have this nice little menu here. So we've got our About Us page, we have our Contact Us page, and then we have our Home. So you can put, as many items as you want to on here. Now, if you want to go to Pages and All Pages, you can either edit or create a new page. So add a new page, and let's just say Diet Plan. Right, your diet plans in here. And so you could just sit here and type in all the diet plans you want to share or whatever content you want to present to your users. And you go over here and you can notice you're going to have a couple different template pages. You have the default, the archive, blog, or the landing. And you can sample this in with the demo content. But we're just going to use the default and click Publish. And now we have a page called Diet Plan. And if you want to add this to the menu, go to Appearance, Menus, go back to the main header menu, and scroll down here, or scroll up, Diet Plan, add to menu. And now we've got a diet plan. Save menu. So now we can go back to our site, and you can see we're starting to populate a nice little menu of all of our site content. So our main page is going to show all of our posts, all of our blog posts that we make. So remember, we did the demo content, so we have all posts. We have all these posts in here, and we're just going to keep these in here right now so you can see what it looks like when you have posts on your blog. And these are placeholders for images, so if you wanted to add images and stuff, you could. And so you can see it's got a lot of different posts. Now you'll notice there's 3 posts per page. I think there should be more than that, right? You know what? People would have to go to a new page for so many posts. So we change that inside of here under Appearance, we go to Settings and Reading. Blog pages show at most 3 posts. I like to set that to about 15 because I like to have long pages. It's just a personal preference. You can set that to as many as you want, but I would rather have longer pages so my visitor doesn't have to scroll to multiple pages to see all the posts. And so we're just using these as placeholders here. So you can see a bunch of posts here on the blog. And they can click the headline and go to the actual page with the post if they want, where they can leave comments and all that stuff, or leave a reply. But that's kind of how it works. So now we've got our blog online. We're using a professional template, so it's different. The good thing about this template is it's mobile responsive. So if we pull it in here, we can see it folds up for a mobile phone, or we can pull it back out here. So it'll fit on every single device. So now we've got our blog made. And now it's all about just producing the content. And as I've said, you can go through here and you can delete the sample content. You can modify it. Whatever works the best for you, you can do. And the same goes with the pages. If you want to make your own pages, you can, or you can go modify all of these. So again, it's just all up to your preferences. And it's, when I'm creating a new website, I create what's called a content calendar, and I just create a list of blog posts, and I'm going to make for the entire week. And I kind of stick to that each week and go in and make it. That way I have nice content that people wants to read that's continually updated on here. And you can see I was an older version of the page, which loads. Next, I want to talk about adding some SEO, some basic search engine optimization stuff, because obviously if you're going to have a blog or a website, you want to add some SEO. The good thing about WordPress is they have a plugin for that. There's a plugin for almost anything. But you want to remember, you don't want to use plugins for unnecessary things. SEO is fine. The caching stuff's fine. But you don't want to add plugins just to add plugins. Have a good reason for them. So under keyword, you can type in SEO, enter. And you can see Yoast SEO. This is my favorite search engine optimization plugin. It adds a lot of nice SEO. It makes all your pages SEO, so Google can index your site much easier. And it is free. They've got a premium version, but the free version works just fine. Click Install. And once again, as we have with all of our other plugins, you just add it, and it takes a second to download and install. And then once it does install, we just have to click on Activate. And we now have SEO. Okay, so you know how you have a new issue. So it's going to tell us of notifications or any issues that we do have with our SEO, which is going to help us optimize it. But now when I go to make a new post, you're going to see some new fields. So this is an example diet post. So this is going to be my title of the blog. This is where I'll type my content. And now when you scroll down here, you're going to see Yoast SEO. It's going to show you what it looks like in Google. So what this post here will look like. And so you can click Edit Snippet, and you can actually change this stuff. So you can see it's automatically populating this. If you want to add your own title, though, like Best January 2018 Diet Plan, it won't use this title. It'll use whatever you add in here. And you see it gives it a scale. So it's orange saying, well, it's not long enough really. So you need to add more content to it. So the best diet plan for January 2018 for vegans looking to lose weight. So you can add something like that to where it's green, and that's you'll get the green, which means it is SEO optimized. The slug, you can leave it at that. And then description, the same thing. It's going to show. This is the description it's going to show. Well, our blog, it's going to take a little bit of the blog post in here automatically, but you might want to type a longer description for Google to index. So you can see as I typed more of it, the scale turned to green. And I just put a little description about the blog post, and I recommend you doing that too. If you even want to focus on a keyword, you can enter that in here. Let's just say diet was the keyword. And it's going to show you problems, what you need to do to focus on your target keyword. So the keyword to show up in Google. So of course I'm going to get some red stuff here because I don't have much much content in the post. So it's going to tell me some improvements. It's going to tell me the good stuff here. So you want everything to be green and good, but this SEO plugin is really, really good. And so spend some time on each post you make to make sure you get all greens and you're focusing on a keyword, because of course the better you're shown in Google, the more traffic you're going to get to your blog. So I'll just go up here for demonstration purposes and click publish. And now if I go back to my diet blog, click on home, you're going to see this is an example diet post. And now there's my example content and all the SEO stuff. You can't see it, but Google sure can see it. And so that's the real benefit of that plugin. Also, when you make a post, I didn't mention this, but I should, there's categories. So it's always good to actually assign a category. Now, remember, we imported all that demo content, so it's got some categories made. So you can go in and modify those, or you can add your own. So like add a new category, and we just call this diet plans. Add new category. And so this post will go into diet plans. We can remove uncategorize, click update. And now on our page, we're going to see it's filed under diet plans. So now if someone clicks that, it's going to show all the posts that are inside of that category. So that's kind of how you organize your blog. As you have categories, you create those, and based on the content you're producing, you put them all in a category so everything's nice, neat, and organized. So see how much fun this can be, though? I mean, it really can be. You can spend hours upon hours of organizing and generating your content and really getting a nice looking blog out. And the good thing is it doesn't take forever to do. And, we have not even touched any code. We even have a contact form without having to add any code to anything. If I wanted to send an email as a visitor, Brian, this is going to go to our admin email address. Click send. Thank you. Your message has been sent. And so see, visitors can interact with you right here and there and get that information right to you. You're going to notice in here we also installed the social plugin because remember it was recommended, simple social icons. So if you go to settings, maybe it's not in there, but there's somewhere in here we can add these social icons. And where is it? View details. This shows us about it. Installation, upload, activate. It's in the widgets. So we're going to go over to the appearance, widgets. And so now on the sidebar, primary sidebar, you have all these items here. When we can see it right here, our search, our recent posts, our comments. We can add our social icons. So if we go down here, you're going to see the social icons to the left of here. Simple social icons. And we can drag these up to here. Go up here. I'm just going to put it up here. Click the drop down. And you can type its title, so get social. And then you have some options. Open links in new window now. Icon color, the hover color, background hover color. So you have all this stuff. And then you've got some logins if you want to add these, like your Facebook page. And we'll just add one. We'll add the NameHero one so we can show an example. Click Save. Now if you go to Key Diets and hit refresh, you're going to see our social. So you get social with us. Here's a Facebook logo. So any of your social media pages that you add into here are going to actually show up right here. And so you can see how plugins can really make your site interactive and social. So, and same thing, if you want to remove, like if you don't want to show some of the stuff like meta, I mean, nowadays a lot of blogs don't want to show that. So you go over here and you can just remove that. So go to meta, click this, delete, and it removes that widget from there. So widgets are a way to really customize your design so you're only seeing stuff that you want people to see. And also, if you just click customize at the top here, you can kind of edit this stuff in real time and see it. So like the widgets right here. Well, actually, we can't edit the widgets in this particular theme. But some themes are different. Some you can, some you cannot. I think the color scheme is a big one in here that you can do. Like, you can change it to green. You can change it to orange. So this particular theme has different colors that you can add to whatever you want. And then when you're happy with the changes, click Publish. And then you can just close out this editor and see it. So you're actually editing in real time and making it. But if you've made it this far and you've followed along this far, congratulations. You now have not only WordPress installed, but you're now WordPress in the cloud. So, we've created our own blog. We've added some pages. We've added some posts and some menus. We've added a premium theme. And like I said, depending on what theme you choose, your site might look completely different than mine. But I wanted to set mine up just for example, diet blog, to where I could sit here and blog all day long about diets for 2018. I'm not using just the default WordPress theme, or template rather. And if you're setting up a site for a plumber or for a wedding planner, anything like that, you have those options. And that's really the benefit to me to WordPress, is you can create an amazing base site. And there's pretty much plugins to do anything. There's even plugins if you have a restaurant and you want people to order online, you can have a plugin to where you can do that. So feel free to ask me if you have any questions, but you'll definitely notice the speed. Notice how fast your site loads. So definitely enjoy that. And now since we have the Wordfence security plugin, it's going to let us know if there's any updates so we can keep it updated. But you're now safe, secure, and on the cloud. So let us know if you have any questions. But thanks so much for using NameHero, and happy blogging.